Hello, Internet, and welcome to what's this show called? Hi, everyone. We're here to play
Cowboy
the.
Bebop.
Yep, that's what we're calling it now. Just totally.
Cowboy.
We'll get sued.
Bebop.
Hi, everyone.
Apologize to the stream in advance because I updated the stream title and it didn't save. So this is Blades in the Dark, episode 51.
We've
part
traveled
2.
to the past.
I will fix it, everyone. Do not fear.
We will figure that all out. We're going in this very blank slate because we're here to play the quiet year. We are. If you missed it, last week was the finale of Red Jenny. Which was very sweet. I that so many feelings. But we're all itching to start something new. So like I mentioned last couple of weeks, and I've played it a few times, we're gonna be playing a Fistful of Darkness. That's why there's cowboy music going right now. But before we get to that, as kind of a palate cleanser and to collaboratively create the world that or the town, the settlement that we're going to be playing this game in, we're playing a round of the Quiet Year. But before we get too far into anything, I start talking about the game. Let's talk about what we've got going on the channel. Other than this game, the only other one we have is the Blades in the Dark game I run on Saturdays called Hearts of Stone. Come join us for that. Things are getting pretty I was trying to think of a good word for trying to assassination. Y'all are gearing to end. Spicy works too. Yeah, it's getting pretty crazy, so come join us for that at 3:00 Eastern time on Saturdays. Otherwise, let's go ahead and I'll let everybody introduce themselves a little bit. Nobody has characters to introduce, so just talk about who you are and what you do on and off this channel. And I'll start with Van.
That's me. I'm Van. You can find me on the internets at Van But Wilder. Mostly just hanging out in the Discord, which is linked below us and also in the chat just now. And streaming here on Saturdays and on Mondays. And tonight I will be introducing you to a cat. This is Detective Juliet O'Hara.
Hi,
She doesn't want to be here. I'll be playing myself.
Excellent. Throw that on the IMDb page. Hey, I'm Kashnia Sid. You can find me on the internets at Greek Sid if you care to look at my very defunct social medias. I am here on Mondays and Saturdays, and you can also find me tomorrow for session 2 over Heart, Red Haven, Heart, the city beneath. It's at 8:30 Eastern over on twitch.tv/High Shelf Collective. RJ's over there, and friend of the channel, Doc, is running the shebang, and it is already wild. Hashtag kebab crew. I will give you no other explanation than that. Tonight I'm also playing myself and showing everyone how atrocious my drawing is. That's me.
I guess that falls to me. Sup, y'all? It's me, Wall, your favorite non-binary slime best friend on the internet. You can find me on all your social medias at WALLE132, just like the cute little Disney robot. You can find me talking about the things that I'm in, the things that I do, and the things that I love. Today, I'm playing myself, a person who actually has way too many empty Diet Dr. Pepper bottles on their decks that really need to be cleaned up. So I'm calling myself out that my desk is messy. So, yeah.
Relatable.
Mm-hmm.
Very.
All right. Howdy, Internet.
Oh,
hey there, Mama. It's me. It's Aceta. You can find me at most places on the
You grew
internet.
up in Missouri and you tried to go like Texan there almost. Like you just have like a little bit of a drink and the Missouri will come out. All right.
That's fair. Yeah. Yeah. I should just get drunk for the stream. What the hell was I saying? You can find me on the internet.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, Ma. You can find me on the internet at Mr. Wilt, most places. It's spelled annoying. Check out in the thing below. You can also find me at john.ceta on Instagram, where you can check out lovely pictures of food that I have been making. And yeah, I'm also playing myself tonight, and I will be drinking this big gulp, which is not spiked.
And I think that's just me now, right? I kind of
I just
forgot
have
that
an
I go
impulse
next.
to say
Yeah,
DenateHeater.com at
Mhm,
the
yeah.
end of intros.
that's always what triggers me to be like, it's my turn to do an intro.
It's Denakeator.com.
Yeah,
It is.
Sita, do you just want to
Can
do
you
you want
just
to
start
spot
doing that?
Janae
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
end of your
She's
intro?
she's
I mean,
not here, but
technically-
like do that anyway.
Technically, if you start a Blue Sky, you can turn it into johncena.com, and then you can say that in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I need to find a way to just kind of mumble it a little bit so it kind of sounds like Danae Keeter.
Yeah.
John Cena. John
You
Cena.
don't no, you guys are the easiest way to do it is just to say it with confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DenateHeater.com.
Say it with your whole chest.
And people will assume that it's a bit if they see it written down. That's what I do.
That's how I live my life.
A quarter mile
All
at a
right,
time.
let me
A
hand it
quarter
off.
mile at a time with my whole chest of it, eventually waiting for someone to call my bluff.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
It's called
hi,
pretty privilege.
hi everyone, I'm Val. You can find me at the Kraken's Ground, lurking around the internet. I already talked about the things that I do, and this is one of them. Are you all ready to get started?
Yeehaw.
All right.
Smudgy, you ready?
A quiet year. So we are, as I said before, we're playing the quiet year to set up for playing a Fistful of Darkness. That's not typically what you use the quiet year for. Quiet year is a map making RPG. The whole premise of it is that we are playing the forces, the citizens, the interests of a town that is overcoming hardship, rebuilding itself, and then will eventually fall into a new hardship of some kind, kind of showing like a cyclical nature to these things. We are tweaking things a little bit because we're using this to set up for a campaign. So some minor adjustments are made. Number one, I talked to my players about this a little bit prior to stream. We're going to have a little bit more context for like the world that we're in. The idea being that because we're doing a further campaign from this, we need to know a little bit more about the setting that we're building out of, just so everything kind of meshes well. The setting for a Fistful of Darkness, it has, if you played that setting or you just have it sitting on your shelf and you haven't had an opportunity to play it yet, or you want to pick it up, it does have a setting that is made for it. It's alternate US history, takes place in roughly 1850s United States. I decided I didn't want to play it in that setting for a number of reasons that I won't get into. So we're kind of doing our own thing. This is going to take place in a country called Olden, or the Olden world, and it will, the nation, or the political structure is the United Nations of Olden. I have created a map for it. I've done too much work. None of that will matter for this, for as far as like a quiet, or for a Fistful of Darkness, but it may influence some things for the quiet here. I'm trying to think. I don't really want to get too much into like the world history stuff. It's not really important. My players have it for context to know a little bit of what's going on, so they can draw any inspiration that they need from that. But things that are set in stone here is that this is a Weird West setting, with the technology level being roughly around the 1850s United States. So we're talking horse-drawn carriages, pistols and gunpowder and dynamite. We've got trains that are currently the rail lines being built across the country. Yeah, I saw Van perk up when I said trains. So everything. So keep that in mind when
Everyone
we're talking.
on this channel knows how I feel about trains.
Keep that in mind when we are building this, is that's what this is all what we're dealing with currently. But this is a land that was once that is full of magic and mystery. I think like high fantasy setting, where the high fantasy stuff is the history of this world. So we may uncover, there may be things that are here, like, you know, forgotten temples to old gods and that kind of stuff. But the current setting is going to be very much in line with what you would expect in any Western. There's, you know, you can have a church there. I've specifically created a single monotheistic religion that is dominant, but it is not the Catholic variety or the Judeo-Christian variety.
Damn, you're gonna
the-
dunk on them after they just lost the Pope.
Yeah, I guess whatever. I can not care because I'm a former Catholic. The anyway, so that's kind of again the context we're working with. Everything has been kind of shifted to the left a little bit, so it alludes to the Old West that was, or the Old West as we know it historically, but it has new context. Let me see what else I wanted to go over. So really that's mostly it. We're just taking out some of what I mentioned, the issues of like we're not dealing with like former slavery or anything like that being a hot button topic in the 1850s, and we're not dealing with indigenous peoples being ousted. No like battles with the skirmishes with the natives and that whole thing that is in the Fistful of Darkness setting, which I'm sure some group and some DM could do that and do it in a really good, very appropriate way to delve into those issues. I just don't feel qualified as a GM to discuss those or really to explore those. So I'll leave that for better minds than myself. So we're doing these kind of differently. Y'all are, in effect, like the world history I've set up, y'all are the indigenous peoples of this land, and you ousted the colonizers and are currently trying to build up a country of your own. So I think what I'm going to talk about first is we'll talk about the rules of a quiet year and how this functions before I get into the intro and some of my preliminary questions. So the way the quiet year is going to function is we are going to play through a calendar year within our little community. We will each take turns in which we will draw a card from a deck of cards that has been split into the separate suits. So you have a suit for spring, summer, fall, and winter. We're going to start with spring, and we'll be drawing the cards from those springs. Each of those cards that we draw is going to correlate with an event. I have a sheet for that that I will reference after you draw your card, and you'll be given two choices. You'll choose which of those you want, and then you'll take the actions accordingly for that. Sometimes you'll draw something on the map. Sometimes it'll introduce a new challenge or something along those lines. Then each of us will take an action after that, where you have there should be a cheat sheet that I put in the list itself as far as like the turn summary. Yeah, you'll have access to that. So you'll play a card, you'll adjust the dice, I'll talk about that a bit, and then you'll take an action. You can either discover something new, hold a discussion, or start a project. So I'm going to talk briefly about what each of those actions mean. When we discover something new, that means that you take whatever you are discovering something new on the map, or something new is happening within the community that we're building. Again, there's no real like definitions for that. It can really be whatever you want. If you look in the Quiet Year PDF, it gives some examples for what you might see or like how that might work. So a problem, an opportunity, a bit of both. You draw the situation on the map in a small, simple little drawing that represents it. And it just adds something new to new challenge that the community will face. And we all respect that in fiction. If you hold a discussion, this is the only time in the game that we will meta discuss what is happening in the community and what our interests are with it. Otherwise, we're not going to sit here and be like, something happened on a card or somebody discovered something new and talk about how we feel about it and kind of which way we want to go. That we're not going to, the only time we will do that is when we hold a discussion. The rules for holding a discussion are pretty straightforward. The person who decides to do it will either ask a question or give a statement. And then everybody gets to give a statement in response to it as far as what they feel. bear in mind when we're playing and discussing, you are representing like a faction of the community and not a specific character. Nobody here is playing one character. There may be like one important NPC who kind of like comes to the forefront. Like if at some point we start discussing like leader to this community or someone who has some interests or somebody gets introduced in a card, we may kind of keep note of that person's existence as like a prominent member of this community, but we don't usually name them and we don't usually go into any sort of detail about who they are or where they came from. But each person will offer a description or like offer a statement. We go around the table and then we kind of get an idea of where people are going and what people want to see happen. The discussion should be tied to situations, things that are happening like on the map and things that are kind of going on during that turn or have previously happened. The last one is starting a project. Projects are really the one time where you can like take action and like, look to like develop something within the community. Again, you're representing a faction. So maybe you think of like, oh, this group, or there might be some people in this community that really want this to happen, really want to see this. In which case you'll say you're starting a project and you will give us the situation. You'll declare a situation like this is happening and we need to do X about it. And then there's no discussion. We don't talk about and ask questions or kind of facilitate that. You just start the project and we assign a project die to it. It's a countdown of 6, 1 through 6. We all kind of agree on like how long it's going to take. Each of those represents like a year, or not a year, a week. So how many weeks it's going to take for that to happen. Some things may logically need more than 6 weeks, in which case we may say this one's going to need more than one project to get done. What's the first step going to be? But otherwise, every time we do something or introduce something, we draw it on the map. You'll have roll 20, and so you can draw on there with colors and shapes and whatever you want to do. Let me see what else I want to talk about here as far as the quiet year. The two other things. One are contempt tokens. I have those on the Roll20 as poker chips that y'all will be able to draw for yourselves. Anytime someone does something or something's happening in the community and you think that there are members, like you feel like the faction of the community that you represent is not being taken into consideration or disagrees with what's happening, you can draw a token of contempt. These don't have any sort of in-game function other than at the end of the game we'll sort of review how many contempt tokens were drawn, and it'll give us an idea of like how much disagreement and tension there is in this community. I may come up with a mechanic behind the scenes that I will use that those contempt tokens for when this all wraps up, but I'm not going to talk about that with y'all until that happens. So bear in mind, if anything ever happens and you're like, I really don't like that, you can take a contempt token. The things that we do in this game shouldn't necessarily always be the best thing that's going to happen. And it shouldn't necessarily be the thing that's going to help the community the most. We don't want this to be like shining city on the hill by the end of this. Things shouldn't be too easy. Feel free to like introduce things that are going to throw a wrench in the system and cause tension. The cards will do that too, but we should also be looking for opportunities to add some elements of chaos to the game. And last, we'll talk about abundances and scarcities. This is something we'll track as well. We'll introduce those at the beginning of like the resources that are important to our community. And we'll decide at certain points of the game which ones are going into abundance and which ones are going into scarcity. So when a card or something talks about that, we should be looking. That's sort of our motivation for the community, is like the things that are important to us, and if they're in scarcity, then that should give you some context for like how to what kind of things do you think the community would be doing to try to take something that was in scarcity and pull it into abundance, or the kind of things that might be happening that take something that's in abundance and start moving it into a place of scarcity. Does anyone have any questions about like the game mechanics or anything before we get started, or how this is played?
Can I make a clarifying comment?
Yes.
Based on something I think you meant but didn't say.
Sure.
drilling back to the contempt tokens, when you say, if you don't like something that's happening, you can pull one of these. That's meant to be like fun in-world stuff, and not as a player, this is bothering me.
Yes,
I know
obviously,
everybody at this table understands you because we've been playing games together for a very long time, but I think it's worth saying explicitly.
Yeah,
just for
safety
people's
tools are in
comfort.
effect. If you don't feel like something, if you're actually uncomfortable with something that's happening, please use the X card, send me a message, something like that.
And
let
we
me know,
do
hey,
use
I
the
don't like
X
this.
card system and everything. And
Yes, those are still in effect. This is more of like somebody introduces, somebody's representing a faction and being like, we're going to go dig up this ancient relic or something. You're like, I actually think some members of the community don't want that to be happening. And so I'm going to take contempt for that.
not like, actually, this content is troublesome to me.
Yes.
I knew what you meant. I know Sid and Wally and
Yeah.
C didn't know what you meant, but I think it's
Yeah.
worth saying.
Don't do it like, this
explicitly.
person's talking too long. I'm going to take contempt. It's like,
Well, that is going to be the running
Well,
joke
we're fucked.
now. Is that-
Sorry.
Is that every time you tell me no, I'm going to take a contempt token.
So before we actually get
I
started,
just had a funny prank idea.
I'm going to read the intro for this. This is the basic intro that the game has. I just modified it a little bit. So, into the quiet year. For a long time, we were at war with the outsiders. Now, finally, we've driven them off. And we're left with this, a year of relative peace. One quiet year with which to build our community up and learn again how to work together. Come winter, the law will arrive, and our community will no longer be ours to govern. This is when the game will end, but we don't know about that yet. What we know is that right now, in this moment, there's an opportunity to build something. The way we're going to go ahead and start, before we get into the drawing, is I have some questions that I need to ask, and these actually come from a Fistful of Darkness, because this will help us give more context for the community that we're in. So Fistful of Darkness has something called Hellstone. I don't know if everybody's read through the book to know enough a little bit about like what Hellstone is and stuff. So is that a no, Van, that you haven't?
I read the book.
Oh, you did. Okay, I was like,
I was really proud of myself because I never read it.
Hellstone,
you guys know I never read the book. I read the
Hellstone
book.
is a resource that is that has been mined or been discovered recently to be able to be like mineable, that is used to power a lot of things and used for a lot of different resources, but it also brings on doom, and it has like this energy to it that can mutate and corrupt things around it. But it's very valuable, very precious. So a lot of businesses and interests are in mining this resource. So this community will have Hellstone. I'm going to put it as I'm just going to go and say when we do our abundances and scarcities, I'm going to just have that on the list because that is the thing that's important to this game. Since it's a default, I didn't want somebody to have to use their turn to do that. The question that I have here too is, did Hellstone come into this world with a big bang or cataclysm? Is the first half of that question. And were there side effects or accompanying symptoms?
Ooh. It could be really fun if it came on like a giant like asteroid or something.
Yeah.
Let's introduce aliens immediately.
Yeah, let's do it.
Absolutely.
100%. I going on like what Sid said, I kind of see like the asteroid like hit like a landmass and kind of caused a huge landmass eruption kind of thing. And
so that's how it spewed all over.
That's pretty much how it just spewed everywhere, you know. Like there's like a concentrated like ore, like there's like a big concentration of like where it first landed. But when it comes to other places, because of the weird like radiation of it and everything, it landed in the earth, it seeped down into the earth, and it kind of irradiated the earth around it, creating, you know, more Hellstone in that area.
Oh, there could even be what if there was a temporary chemical reaction with this stuff when it first hit our atmosphere, which made it incredibly like acidic, but only for a little while. So it hit the earth, scattered all over, and because of that like high acidity and like it
The acid
just
rain.
sunk
Down.
No, it just
Yep.
it sunk into the earth, leaving these like tunnels, and a lot of them have like collapsed or whatever. But sometimes there's like little tendrils of a tunnel behind where these places are, or it's that in part created as part of like the landscape around it, like creating lakes or something.
Yeah.
You know, just burning away at the ground.
Yeah, and going on with like what you said earlier in your first part of that is that because it like seeped into the ground and it created all these tunnels, that's how like the mining systems were created. That's how like people
where
would
the
mine
tunnels
for
started.
Hellstone. Yeah, that's how
And they were able to
it
excavate
started.
them out and create
Mhm.
mines.
Okay.
It made it a lot easier to excavate it because of the way these stones were spread around.
But
This is why I was so excited to
maybe
play
they're
this game with
already
this group, because immediately there's no like there's no like, oh no, we're being called on, now we have to think of something. It was like, wait, I have an idea.
yeah.
Go, run, be free.
Also,
play.
dark tunnels, dark scary tunnels, Hellstone, bad monsters or something.
I think definitely Hellstone definitely like mutated like the natural monsters, like the natural creatures that live there are
Do we
definitely
have to
like
fight
offsets.
demon mole people?
Like probably
Yeah.
like it's
I'm
not
gonna-
even like moles, it's probably like
Oh, all I can
demons,
think of is the, like,
Centipedes, millipedes.
yeah.
all I was thinking of is like the corrupted machines from Horizon that have like the weird like tendrils and stuff on them.
Mm.
Yeah.
So y'all are getting into the second question.
Oh, okay.
So let me
Yes,
let
please-
me go ahead and start
please
We're
asking
do
that.
Stop us.
overachievers.
Stop
We
us.
should have. I should have also
Is that
said
extra
this.
credit?
I should have said this at the beginning, but because I'm the loudest one and also the one I think with the most channel authority to shut everybody up for a second.
Yeah.
Let's be really good about letting Val interject because we love to
Yeah.
talk over Val.
So the second question is, how does the natural environment, landscapes, flora, fauna react with exposure to Hellstone? Some examples it gives are like petrified trees, red water, permanent dark clouds in the sky above specific sites, new and changed animal species. So I'm going to go ahead and put in, because of what y'all
Yeah.
said, mutated bugs and other fauna, making them like larger and more hostile.
I'm imagining that it like the way that you guys were describing it, that it functions like I was literally just reading about it. It's like how like if you have an excess of carbon dioxide in your blood, it'll bond to your hemoglobin. Like I'm imagining
Oh,
it
yeah.
like I'm imagining like it functioning that same way, or like mercury or something, where like if you get it too much of it in you,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Or like
there
kind of like
forever.
if you eat, or kind of like,
Like
how
it
you eat too many
binds.
carrots, like your skin turns orange kind of thing.
Yeah, but that's not
Exactly.
permanent.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Colloidal silver.
So we have
Mm.
mutates
That's
the
permanent though. You stay blue.
mutates creatures that come into close proximity to it. Is there any effects that y'all want to add with like landscape or like floor or like plant
Can
life,
there
sort of
be
thing?
just literally like a dark cloud at
I was-
all
yeah.
times over the impact site?
Absolutely. Yeah, and so what we're doing is like Hellstone is not just mined in the location that you all are in, it's
Yeah.
like all over this desert here. And we'll say like the areas where it's most abundant, like wherever the mines are going to be located in our community, will like perpetual dark
God
clouds.
damn it, we made
That-
another freaking jungle again where there's a
That-
whole area that no one wants to go to because it's full of dangers and monsters.
It's just
fuck yeah,
we're
that's
doing
fun.
Duskwall again, where the sun exploded, and we don't want to go out to the Deathlands.
Yeah,
But
we
it's
did it
even
again.
creepier that it's just in one spot. It's
Yeah.
just over the
Mm.
impact site.
I've
you know?
got
Can I be-
a
Go ahead.
I've got an addition for that too. Going on, you mentioned plant life.
Mhm.
Maybe not plants specifically, but what if the ground became weirdly fertile for like mycelium, like weird funguses and stuff,
Yeah.
Mushroom.
Okay, so I'll do
and like the shade from the clouds also helps with that too. Keeps it dark and maybe a little damper in that area.
Can I
And-
be
and-
can I be
The resistant
pedantic
to-
about the asteroid, since this is my special interest right now, and I'm in the fourth astronaut book I've read in the last 2 weeks?
God, I only finished number 1. Okay, go.
I have like an hour left in the fourth book.
Holy
bro.
shit, dude.
Yeah.
She's writing another one. Technically, because it came from the space, it made it all the way through the atmosphere, since this is alternate Earth, and it hit the planet, it would be a meteorite.
Yes.
That's just ballpark science.
Asteroid out there, meteor, burn up in the atmosphere, meteorite, make it all the way down. That's the baby version.
I learned that from
Would have
Adventure
been a
Brothers.
meteorite.
All right, so I've got mutated bugs and other fauna, lots of fungal growth, dark cloud over areas, depths of the Hellstone. All right, moving on to the next question. There is there's a mechanic in this game for something called artifacts that y'all will be able to create and stuff using Hellstone. They're created using Hellstone. Devices, weapons, that sort of thing, talismans that provide powers and stuff from that. The question here is, how many artifacts are in this world? Are they rare and precious, or so common that the chance to see one in everyday life is pretty high?
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Because the meteorite hit the Earth and it caused all of these ores to go around, and because it's kind of like it's like you know, like old Western kind of like setting kind of thing. I kind of view it as there are maybe very few things that are actually powered by it. Like maybe someone maybe decided to try to make something out of it and they did, but they dared not share it. So I think maybe there's like 4 objects out there that actually work like the way they're supposed to do.
So I wonder if maybe it's a substance that has to be refined, and so
Yeah.
whatever's made out of like the raw shit is like really
Really
busted.
powerful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or really like
So-
freaky.
So either we haven't developed the technology in order to use it reliably, or it just can't be used reliably. Science hasn't figured that out yet. But either way, we're saying these are rare.
Yeah.
That artifacts would be rare and
Like,
uncommon.
anything just made out of like the raw shit.
It
Is like-
doesn't work, but there are like very few stuff.
Because it's
out
probably also
Would it
like difficult
be-
to work with too.
I
Would it
think
be
ma-
jumping ahead a little bit to say that maybe there is a faction, like a villainous faction, that does make pretty common use out of the unrefined Hellstone, and they've got, like Van was saying, they've just got like a bunch of weird, busted,
Like bunch of
Creepy,
nodes
dark
of
magic
this
items.
shit,
I will-
like-
I will
Children of Adam
go-
style.
I will go
Yeah.
even further with that. What if this is not even just a faction? What if it's like one person, like a Rockefeller of like this era, like the guy who decided like, hey, I'm gonna
mean,
build
it
the
is
transatlantic
a rock.
railroad. Yeah. So there you go, right there.
Okay, I'm gonna add there.
Like a rich land baron, like Uncle Moneybags kind of guy.
yeah.
Oh yes,
Moneybags!
my old uncle Moneybags. He's
So
Daddy
we'll go-
Warbucks'
Train Baron
cousin.
style.
I'll add a.
You guys ever think about old Daddy Warbucks?
So I'm going to put rare and precious and
reference.
stable form. Unrefined Hellstone can be used to make dangerous and volatile devices. Shady people make these. So
Yeah.
So the next question is because there is both steampunk and Hellstone technology in this world. So some things that operate on good old fashioned steampunk energy, others that operate on Hellstone. Is this technology already advanced and common enough that every PC and important NPC owns a piece of this technology? The next question, the next part of this is, are supernatural artifacts equally common? I think we're saying no to that. But yeah, so is this steampunk? So if we're looking at just the steampunk Hellstone technology, not the artifacts, that's separate, where they create like magical devices with these, but technology that burns Hellstone or uses steam to power itself. Is this something that is advanced and common? That common people have it, or is it something that is still pretty in its infancy?
Say it makes sense. Like I think the technology exists. Like we have trains. I'm assuming those trains are probably steampunk and not the Hellstone. So the
they
technology
can be either coal or they could be steam.
Yeah. So I think it exists, but we are enough, either through hardship or just being in the boonies, that I would say common folk probably don't have ready access to it.
Okay. Is everybody in agreement?
Does
on
that seem fair?
Yeah, I can
Yeah,
see
I'm
like
good
the
with that.
common folk being very like guerrilla with it. Like they take what they can.
This
like,
is
to
a
make their
little
own
me
tech.
being selfish for making my wrench and saw be even more quirky for making shit like this. So
I will say, so if
Oh,
we're
yeah.
going that route, there is a special ability that's only introduced into this game if we decide it's common. So if we're saying it's not common, that special ability is not on the table for people to take. So
How do we feel now?
the special ability is essentially that people can start with a piece of Hellstone technology or steampunk technology or an art. We would say not an artifact in this case because we've decided that. But there's a special move that can be either taken as a veteran ability or an additional starting ability if we go that route.
I mean, I'm fine with it.
I think it'll be more fun if we earn some cool piece of steampunk tech along the way.
I'm fine with it. I just can't remember how to spell the word volatile.
VOLT.
L-A...
ATILE.
Volatile.
Yeah.
I think I always switch the A and the I. Anyway, continue.
So we've got Sita saying that would rather it stay rare and be something that we earn and find, and maybe something that like gets introduced more as the campaign goes on. There's some people on the fence about it being something.
I'm down with that.
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
Yeah, and also
As
I
long
can
as
kind
everybody
of.
else is down with it, I'm down
Yeah,
with
I'm
that.
down with it because like, yeah, I am.
Okay. Next question. Are demons overpowering and rare, or are there swarms of lesser and common demons everywhere, or somewhere in between? So one of the things in this game is that demons and undead are created and are a byproduct of Hellstone and the impending doom. So that will be one of the main like antagonists of this game is like those forces. So the main question is, are we dealing with like a few very powerful demons, or are we dealing with like swarms of like imps and smaller demons and things all over the place that we're constantly dealing with, more like a nuisance?
I want to say it's more a midpoint, like it's very middle, not like not where it's that it's an overwhelming where it's very obvious there's a big honking demon in a city kind of thing, but it's also not a thing where it's like urban legends. I think it's enough where that demons can walk around and be hidden and just coexist with people, but it's not a thing where they have to like create their own, where they have to like where it's like an overpowering population kind of thing. It's more of like a drip kind of population because of what happened.
I like the idea of like imps and shit, like swarms of them being more of a nuisance, like a pack of coyotes or wolves could be a
Yeah.
nuisance
Yes,
rather
yeah.
than a swarm of rats.
I like that too, because I think as used to demons as we are, so rarely is it just like, man, there's a freaking little pack of imps outside and they're pissing me off and they keep chewing on holes in my shoes.
Like like the lesser
Like,
demons
I've
can
never-
get through easily.
Yeah, I've never like, even in D&D, like demons where they swarm are sequestered to very specific places, and I think it would be interesting to just have a bunch of people being like, like they're bats.
Yeah,
Or
like
rats,
demons
Sid
are
was
like
saying,
The
like,
demons are attacking my sheep again.
God.
Damn it!
Yeah.
Fucking, I
Like,
found
they're-
another.
like, they're
They
the
chewed a damn hole in the floorboards
Yeah,
again.
I like that.
Ethel, like, I think that's funny.
I like that.
And it's-
So do you want that in addition to there being occasionally like very rare powerful demons, or it's just
I think
demons are
so,
just-
yeah.
Yeah.
Because that seems like a cool kind of Western trope. You know, demon rolls into town like the lone rider, and everybody takes notice,
fuck.
starts shuttering their doors and windows and stuff.
Yeah.
But like on site, people would be like, "There's a fucking demon here."
Yeah. Yeah.
Something about that. It's like a different kind of fear.
Yeah.
Got it. The last question here is very similar to this one. Are there many undead in this world? Is there a connection between them and Hellstone and or demons? And did their number increase with Hellstone?
I actually want to say there's a lot more undead because of the Hellstone. And maybe they're even like a kind of like a subjugated or quasi antagonistic faction.
I was gonna,
Like miners often, you might die as a miner and still get paid after you're fucking dead.
I was gonna take that and then tag it on to what Van said about how demons are a common kind of thing. There's undead, but I think like specifically mindless undead zombies rising up from grounds is a very common thing that undertakers are not just undertakers who take care of the dead, but they're also like exterminators, that they handle
Put 'em back
the
in.
undead that come back. It's like, no, you gotta stay back down there.
I want undead to be prevalent mostly because I definitely made it to the chapter about revenants in the book. And I want to be
That's the
one.
only part I didn't read.
I
I
wanna be
wanted to
one.
keep that kind of mysterious.
Well, it's got the specific player mechanics
Yeah.
Yeah.
in it. So.
So we're saying yes to undead, very prevalent that people come back as undead.
Mhm.
The second part of that is, are we saying, is there a connection between them and Hellstone? Has this always been a thing, or is this something that has gotten worse as Hellstone usage has become more?
Are the demons related to Hellstone too?
Demons are related to
Yeah.
Hellstone by default.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
It
think
all
I
kind of
think-
comes back to Hellstone.
Yeah, it totally does. Like, you know,
Because maybe like just like microplastics and all this other shit, if something kind of volatile like that is
Yeah.
in the environment for a long time, it slowly does seep into people.
it's
So
it's-
maybe that's the factor, is like everyone slowly but surely, even if they're not
Yeah.
mutated, got a
Mhm.
little
If
bit
it-
of Hellstone in them.
If it does what we said earlier and it binds to you organically.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like
Yeah.
always people
Oh god,
like all
Hellstone's
like the
just
people trying
DDTs.
to
Oh
all
shit.
the people
no.
trying to like refine Hellstone in their factories who are trying to refine Hellstone, and all that runoff is probably also doing wild stuff too.
Yeah, factory workers and miners would probably both be like really at risk for that sort of thing.
So we're
The
saying
idea of like
Undeath, or
sane,
maybe mutations while they're alive too, but
Like,
undeath.
but also on death.
Yeah,
I,
So
I
we're
love the
saying-
idea of like a saying when someone is put down to like be put to be buried, like, you know, like the whole put the quarters on the eyes in Greek myth. Maybe it's like put a quarter in the head, aka like just in case, double tap them in the head before we put them in the ground so
yeah,
they don't
yeah.
come back.
hmm
I just
Yeah,
So-
in this world we have what's called a triple tap, which
There
is
we go.
one in the chest, one in the head, and if they're down, a third one just to make sure.
yep, love it.
So yes to undead, very prevalent. People come back as undead. Connected to exposure to Hellstone causes people to come back, and it got. So we're assuming it got worse as Hellstone.
Yeah.
has gotten
I like the
better.
idea that like your profession or where you live is directly correlates to how likely you are to come back as a zombie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
All
awesome
right.
and really scary.
The last real question before we get into the world building and playing the game, there's one other thing I added to playing the game that we'll get into first, is that I want you to think about, but not necessarily have an answer right now. Because as we play A Fistful of Darkness, when we create the posse, y'all will decide as a group whether you're trying to speed along and create or prevent doom. So y'all can be working for either side with your posse, depending on what we pick. The idea being, as doom accumulates, we reach certain thresholds with that, where once we've accumulated enough doom, one of the four riders appears, the four horsemen of the apocalypse, which then forever changes the world, makes things a little worse. And then once all four have appeared, the game ends, and we have a big showdown with the forces of darkness versus the forces of good. So y'all will need to decide which side of that conflict you are working on. Don't need to decide it right now. We're not going to do that right now because we haven't really developed your characters or anything. But I want y'all to think about that, is that there are factions in this world that are doing both. There are factions that are trying to speed things along. There are factions that are trying to stop it. Let's go ahead and get into some of our quieter stuff and like get into that. So what we will do, the things that we will start with is we're gonna make some terrain, kind of show like decide where we are and all of that, give us some context for the setting. But I added a little thing at first, because we're playing in a world, in a location that is not your traditional fantasy setting. It's not actual alternate history. Is what species or races are present here, and everybody's going to give one, and I'm going to give some context for this too. Is so who lives in these lands is the question. What fantasy supernatural races, things like ogres, orcs, goblins, trolls, like that kind of stuff. The parameters for this is no humans, no elves, no dwarves. No, the traditional fantasy races, because those are the outsiders. Those are the people that came to these lands venturing and trying to conquer it, and we have ousted them.
So we're not human.
No.
Oh.
None of you are human. So there are no humans that live here. Those are the outsiders. The other context is there can be nothing demonic or fiendish or undead, because those are specific things for this game. So no tieflings and vampires and stuff like that. As long as it's not one of those, be whatever you want. So everybody will give one, and these will be the 5 groups that live in Olden, in this entire continent.
Slime people.
Okay.
I think we knew.
Do you have a name you want to go with for this, other than slime, like a moniker for this fantasy race? Like oozlings or slimers or
Slimers.
They are called oozlings, but if you call them slimers, that is considered a racial term, and that's on their word that they're allowed to
Okay,
use.
so they can call each other slimers.
They can call each other slimers because they say, "What's up, my slimer? How you doing, my slime?" That kind of stuff. You know, they say that, and if someone else who isn't in the news says that to them, they're like, "Whoa, come on." That's our word.
I'm gonna have to role play this, and I'm really gonna have to try hard to to feel like I can say that if I'm playing a slime character. My white girl doesn't get to me.
Just made the word slime uncomfortable to say.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch Ghostbusters and get really uncomfortable.
Oh gosh.
Good job, Wally. That's incredible.
Pretty pejorative.
Are Fey folk? Because
Yes,
Fey
so
folk,
I will
folk
say-
encompass a lot.
I will say we'll try to narrow it down by what we're saying. Fey folk on its own would be probably too broad. But I'll say that's separate enough from like elves that you can pick that. If you want to just say, if you want to call them just like Fey folk, we will just describe what it is a Fey folk typically looks like and what they typically are.
So I'm thinking, I was gonna say orcs, but I think I'm gonna skip orcs. And I want to do something a little bit different. I was thinking, maybe hobgoblins.
Okay.
Maybe I'm thinking we could maybe call them ogres or something, maybe. But unless we want to have more goblinoid types.
We could just like we could also just say goblinoids in general. Also,
you could just say goblins, and that could. I mean, again, there's gonna be variety to these people, and there will be species that are, you know, half slimer, half oozling, half goblin. You know, like there'll be
Globlin.
Globlin.
You said Globlin, and that's great.
Yeah, so there might be some mixing and stuff in there too.
Okay, well, let's just say all the goblinoids then.
Okay, so I'll just say we're just gonna generally call goblins, and we'll say that encompasses like varying size. Like they vary a lot in size, from, you know, troll size to down to like teeny tiny goblin sized. Okay. Who's next?
I want mer people.
You want mer people? Okay.
I want mer people, but I want them to function like they do in Crescent City, where they can be on land sometimes.
You good with merfolk?
Yes.
That's the name? Okay. So they can walk on land, but they gain like amphibian traits when they get in.
So that's how it works in Crescent City, but essentially they can only be on land for a certain amount of time before they have to get dunked in the water again. In Crescent City, if they're out of the water for more than... Ooh, it depends person to person. I think the one guy can only be out for 24 hours. But if they're stuck out of the water for more than 24 hours, then they lose their fins permanently. It's very scary.
Okay, but they don't die, so you could have merfolk who just decide, you know what, I'm I'm land locked at this point.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna worry about.
If you don't want to put a distinct, like a very distinct time limit on it, I would say that like the longer they spend on land, the more they adapt to living on land until eventually they can just live on land permanently if they want to.
Like that.
Could we say that there's a common phrase that being a fish out of water is like being a newcomer to an area?
I do like that,
Pretty much already what that means.
but it has a different.
I like it. When
If
you're an
you're
actual fish, it
imitation.
does change it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fish people.
You can go with like
Because
a
then I
mer-
imagine
a mer
like
out of water or
if it's-
something.
but yeah, but then if they don't want anything to do with land, then I imagine they look more like real nasty ocean freaks,
Like it. Okay, cool.
right? Like if they mostly live in the water, they're gonna be more fishy.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're in a desert, so,
So
we're probably
traits
not gonna run into a lot of
change.
them.
That's okay.
Depending on how much time they spend in water versus on land.
Yes. That's what I want.
I think it's kind of like, what if it's like a thing of like, if they add like water into their sleep cycle, kind of thing. Like, is if they submerge themselves in water when
You
they
gotta sleep in a bathtub.
You have
That's
to sleep
what
in a-
what's
like-
his fucking Crescent City does is he literally
Yeah.
will just like sit in the tub for a while and be like, all right, we're good.
Yeah,
let's
and
go.
it's like, and if you do that as part of like your as your resting sleep cycle, you will be more fish-like. You will look like more like fish people kind of thing. But if you kind of like mid it, you look more like mer people, and then it leads into the whole adapting on land kind of thing.
I like it. Cool.
Okay.
Sid?
Do I go more monstrous or less monstrous?
I say yes.
That doesn't help me. Okay.
I'm gonna name
My thoughts were I could go more monstrous and we could go straight up like griffin people. Like 4 feet, half bird, half lion, like the whole thing. Or I do something a little less and we could say like fawns, but fawn could encompass both 2-legged with like goat feet or 4-legged like centaur.
Like that.
I like
So it's
that.
essentially
Centaur
some
cowboys is a cool
combination
idea.
of humanoid top, equine, or
Equine or goat bottom, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So do we want to do that, or we want to go straight up griffins, y'all?
I kind of love the idea of a Wild West town having centaurs.
I mean,
It's-
you could combine it because there's nothing keeping us right now from saying that Pegasus is a real thing. Horse can have wings. You don't you don't have to cut them off like that. They can have them. We're making shit up.
Yeah, I'm trying to decide how I incorporate. I don't want flight to be an element in this game.
Okay, let's
but-
go.
Okay,
let's
well,
go
this so
fawns.
there's the okay. I would like to take a contempt token.
Well, one of your
Every
starting
time you tell
items
me
that-
no,
I will say one of your starting items is a horse. So
Horse.
I don't want to take that
Horse.
away from anyone either. That you get a horse and you get to name it, and everyone gets to have a horse. So
Awesome.
Nice.
just think about that.
Wow, Griffin people would be really sick.
Griffin
Yeah.
people would be pretty cool.
Now,
I mean,
here's-
we could even say that they're flightless. I mean, they are
Yeah.
massive.
It's
So like,
this is an unrelated thought, but I don't. It's a thought that I had that doesn't come up very much. Bug people.
Ooh, yeah, bug people. Like I can.
I'm
see-
gonna pick
oh,
one too, just so y'all know. This is not the last one.
Bug people.
Oh, okay. Bug people, because the idea of a whole.
But Griffin
town full
people
of
would
ants.
be really hot.
it would be
I
wild.
would be
Likely.
hot.
Likely.
Yeah.
They have feathers.
Yeah.
You can also, if you want to like Griffin people, you could combine with kind of what are the lion people?
Well, yeah, that's great.
Leonid.
Griffin is half bird, half,
Half
lion.
lion.
Yeah, no, in D&D though, what's the
Li-
what are
Leonid?
the
Leonids.
Leonids? Yeah, because then
Yeah.
if some of because then you expand it out, right?
hmm
Oh, so like,
So you get
but like,
some people are
You could
very
just go gen-
feathered. Some people are in between. Some people have more like lion
Yeah.
features. Like
I was playing around with the idea of like beast folk.
because you can
Yeah,
get cat people in here,
yeah.
baby.
Ooh.
yeah, just beast folk in general.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's-
why
Cat
don't you
people
go
got-
beast
yeah.
folk,
Go beast
and
folk.
then I'll just throw in the fawn people.
I like
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll go with fawn, which are humanoid,
Up top,
upper
and
half,
And then either
animal.
2 or 4-legged equine
Yeah.
at the bottom.
Okay.
I love it. They're gonna be so cute.
Yeah.
Val, you can have bug people for free.
Yeah, I guess like what's more interesting to do? We could do like insect folk or beast folk.
Why couldn't insects be part of beast
Yeah,
folk?
that could be part of it. Like a branch of beast folk.
Okay.
I hate to keep going back to D&D, but I'm pretty sure that like there's like spiders that are considered beasts and shit. So
That is true. So I'll go with beast folk, and then it's
just put some bugs in there.
humanoid
Do like a
with some beast or insect traits.
what are the guys that look like they're three keen. They're like the
Oh,
big
yeah,
like
three-keen.
praying
Yeah.
mantis.
Yeah, big praying mantis people.
I kind of,
And
I
we'll
just
go with-
love.
Okay.
I just with the beast folk and the whole insect people. I just have this idea of like a town that is nothing but ant people.
Oh
Yeah.
shit. Wickedly industrious.
Mm-hmm.
Bee people.
Bee people.
Crab people.
So we'll we'll go with that. So we've got oozlings, goblins, merfolk, faun, and beast folk.
Yeah.
Are the 5 heritages of the of this world. And again, there's a lot of variety to be had there, but usually you fall into one of those 5 categories or some combination of a couple. Excellent. Awesome. All right, that was the last extra thing that I had, so we can actually get into this ding dang game. So before the first week of play, we're going to establish a general terrain for our map. So we're actually going to get drawing here. So get your drawing brushes ready. So this is going to begin with a brief discussion. It says 2 minutes at the most. I'm going to start a timer about the
Each-
general terrain and habitat. So we're going to decide generally we're going to talk about this as a group. So this can be as simple as someone saying, how about a community in a rocky desert, and everyone else nodding in agreement. So we're going to talk about where this community is situated before each of us will then take a turn drawing one feature of the terrain on the map. So don't sit here right now and talk about there needs to be this and this and this and this nearby. Just generally speaking, where are we going? Obviously, we're doing a Western, so that leans more towards doing a community in a desert environment, but it also encompasses, hills and mountains, and we took all the way up to like Colorado, and you've got more frontier towns that are a little more green and stuff. So does anyone have like a specific location like you're envisioning for where this town is located? At the bottom of a valley, on the side of a mountain, in the middle of the desert?
Can we be off to the side of the impact site?
Ooh, yeah.
I guess that depends on how long we're saying it's been. So Hellstone is something that has existed in this world for a while, and pieces of it have popped up from time to time. People have used it for different resources, and then recently we've discovered like veins of it. So when we're talking about the impact site, number one, this would be a very like if we found this crater, this would be a huge crater. I'll probably have to draw it on the map too. So if we want to say we're on like the edge of that, like where that crater happened, like, and how long ago that took place.
Maybe it's just because I've only spent a little bit of time in very specific parts of the Western US, but like in my brain it just conjured like this little one-horse Western town that has a big sign because the thing that the town is known for is being the last stop before you get to the crater. Because
yeah.
people are gonna go out to see that
Yeah.
shit. Because even if it has even if it was recent, even if it's been a long time, that's a tourist destination, baby.
Yeah. It's definitely
Weirdos are gonna want to hike out to the crater, and we're the last stop
Mhm.
The
before
crater
you get out into the nowhere land.
And the crater's a very dangerous area too. So a lot of people go here to get supplies. A lot of rough and tumble folk go through here to test their metal. It's a very like last post, abandon all hope, ye who enter here, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it
it
could
would
be
be
a ways
basically
away, too.
eternally
Yeah.
night there too. Like the cloud cover alone would be massive, right?
it'd
And
be-
it'd
Because
be
like
just
this
far
meteorite,
enough along
if
the
it's
horizon.
scattered,
Yeah.
if it's scattered so far to like cover an entire mountain range, American West area, it would have to be huge, like an extinction level event. So like the crater itself, the site would be massive. The
It'll be
cloud
like
I'm
the
looking
great-
in like the
massive.
Yukon Peninsula for context. The asteroid that killed the meteorite that killed the dinosaurs is about 110 miles in diameter. So if that's what we're looking at in context of
I
like,
imagine
you know,
they talk about our town as like that's the closest anybody relatively sane will live to the damn thing.
Yeah. I think it's kind of like
Yeah.
having a town that's nearby something equivalent of the Grand Canyon.
yeah. So we want to say Crater's Edge is
That's a
the
sick
kind of-
name for a
That
town.
is that
Yeah.
is a sick name for a town. Yep.
Just gonna put a pin in that for later.
Put a pin in that name. Yeah.
Crater's Edge.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right,
Yeah,
I'm
I
taking
actually do
notes.
like that.
Am I gonna give up halfway through? Definitely.
Hey.
Crater's Edge.
All right. Crater's Edge is the general location. Okay, so that's kind of where we're starting at. So imagine desert environment, like close enough to the crater that like you can see the like enormity of it in the distance. And just I imagine like some sort of
Days
almost
travel
on the
horizon kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and,
like-
and, you can see the black clouds from the town itself.
Got it. So let's start sketching the terrain of where this is. So we are going to, once we agree, each of us is going to include one detail about the local terrain and sketching it onto the map. So this is where we start with kind of our base template for our community. The community itself is going to like take up about a third of this map. If we kind of agree to like as far as if you're looking for context and it, like distance wise, I did put this map to kind of the scale of what I'm expecting. So about 25 miles by 20 miles. So that's the distance that we're dealing with. So pretty small localized area. Yeah.
Can I ask an accessibility favor of everyone? Pick one color and stick to it. Also, some of us are going to have to change our colors because me, Val, and Sid are going to be drawing into my eyes the exact same shade of blue.
Oh, shit.
I didn't even realize. Yeah, I haven't.
I'd like to try to keep track of what everyone is drawing for
I'm
my own brain.
pink purple is my color.
So one of us is going to have to... So one
One
is
of
going to have
us-
to
One of us is
Gonna
gonna have to
change.
change.
Yeah. You're looking at the colors at the bottom for that. Okay, that's not what I was going to be drawing in.
Well, no,
I was
that's
like,
what-
how do you know what color I had selected?
It's right next to your name.
Well, no, that's why I was saying, like, when we start drawing, can everybody stick to one color?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Also, if you're going to be drawing with that color, change it.
Got it.
Was the full.
I'm going to draw on
I
a
can stick with
green.
my orange.
I'm sticking with my purple.
Valerie
I
said
will
green.
draw in this dusky red.
Great. I'll
Okay.
stay this dark blue.
All right.
That's
So,
just so I can parse what's happening on the screen.
Yup.
so we're going to kind of say like, I'm not going to draw it, but like center of the map is kind of like the heart of the town that we're looking at. So we're looking at areas kind of to above and below. I'm not going to say north and south because we haven't
Got it.
really decided that yet. So, all right. So what does anyone have an idea for what they want to add? We're not going to go in turns yet. Just
Oh, river.
Yeah.
river.
Need a
Okay.
river.
So go ahead and draw a river.
God.
Such a crazy thing to say. Yeah. So do it.
Do it.
Fucking draw it.
So
You get to
just
decide
do
where it runs.
River.
In roll
Is it-
20 with a mouse, I'm expecting a lot of skill here. So no.
Up. Yes, up. Oh, no, I did not want to do... What the fuck?
Oh,
No.
I
That's
think you got the fill.
Yeah,
on.
you just
I
need to
do.
do draw freehand on your
Okay.
little toolbar on the left-hand side.
Yeah, I'm trying.
You can hit Control F also to do turn on draw freehand.
Draw. Freehand. Regular. Regular width. Okay, let me try this again. Nope, still doing the same damn thing.
If you've okay, so did you select the color? So there's two different boxes for colors, a left side and a right side.
Yeah.
Did you select just the one on the left?
No, I've selected the one on the right.
No, you need to do the
That's
one on
your
the
fill.
left. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah. The one on the
the
right
one
is
on the
your fill
right
color.
should stay the PNG like transparent. So if you click on that one at the very
to
bottom
transparent.
row, select transparent.
Got it. Okay.
I'll go ahead and select those and delete them.
It's been a long
Please
time since
do.
any of us had to draw some shit on Roll20.
It's so true. Okay. Let's try this again. Hey, there it is. Hello, river. Whee. Done.
Yay.
River.
Yay.
It looks like a sea monster.
Yeah, this is like a little squiggly worm.
I love it. That's the top river.
Yep.
Got it.
Named after Shane Top.
Yeah.
The top
right.
river.
The top river.
The first mayor
The first man.
of Crater's Edge,
Shane Top.
Shane
Shane Top.
Top.
All right.
Just kidding,
Who's
we're
got
not-
something else next?
I have something. A abandoned mining town.
Mining town or okay.
An abandoned mining town. She'll be right. Very pretty. You got a little that. And this little that. You got a little that. It's like a little opening.
It's so fun because like we can't see the brushstrokes, or I can't anyway. So the lines just like appear.
And there's a little house there. Ooh, got a little house right there. Ooh. That's the mounting town.
Okay.
And it's
Nice.
abandoned.
Got it. All right. Who's next?
I'm gonna put in just a little saloon slash brothel right near the center of town.
I thought we
Okay.
were just doing terrain.
Oh, are we doing terrain?
So
My bad.
it's generally speaking the terrain for this. I'm fine with the mining town because we're saying there's like a mine. Or
Yeah, there's a
something, so
mine
it's-
in there. There's like a old mine. A big
Okay.
mine there. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Right,
it is a. Let's see.
I just want to make sure I'm following the train of thought.
And
Yeah, again, everything that we're not going to put everything that's in the town here. Like there will be building. There's also a thing from Fistful of Darkness where we decide the buildings and stuff that are located in our town, but we're going to do that later on.
then I'm gonna separate the river from the town with some rough hills, not quite mountains, but just some kind of
Nice.
rough hills.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead just so we have the context for it. Why don't I draw a space where the actual town,
Like the border
is.
of the town.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna do the town itself exists in about like that space there.
Okay. Then I've got mine.
Go.
I'm gonna put right on the outskirts of town, getting into the valleys of these hills. I would like some weird natural hot spring. Is it safe to go in? Who knows? Do we? Absolutely. I'm gonna put it like right there. Boop, boop.
The steam.
Yeah,
I like it.
that's where that goes.
Love it.
Okay.
Love it.
What do I want to?
Right on the edge of town.
Mm-hmm.
Probably smells a little bit like sulfur.
But people love it. They say it has rejuvenating.
Yeah, well, it's getting the toxins out.
Yeah.
Okay. I am.
Do we know how
going
kidneys
to...
work yet?
No. You know.
I'm going to say that kind of between the town and the abandoned mines down there is a section of the like waste there where there are just perpetual like dust devils, tornadoes like that just continuously function or continuously spin in that location.
Oh god, that crater is gonna be like a nightmare of a dust bowl, huh?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm just gonna draw some little dust devils.
Yay!
These are thicker than they should be, but
We're
All right.
not drawing to scale, Val.
yeah, I'm gonna actually make those smaller. Yeah, but I don't want it to take up too much of the map for other
Yeah.
drawings.
Oh look, they're so cute.
All right.
Very dead.
Awesome. So that will be our terrain. Next, we are going to decide on our starting resources. So what we're going to decide first is what everybody's going to give one resource that is important to this community. So choosing a resource, the thing it says here too, is choosing a resource makes it important if it wasn't already. If you pick something like gasoline, not in this case, we don't need gasoline, but it becomes something our community wants or needs. That doesn't necessarily mean it's something we have. Only one of these things will be something that we have in abundance. But we're picking 5 things that are important for this community. So everyone think of a resource, and whoever's got one, I'm going to go ahead and put Hellstone because that is important for the system we're going to be playing.
I got one.
I've got a thing I'm going to share too for y'all. Yes.
Lumber.
Lumber. Okay.
I'm going to add in livestock.
Got it. Do we need to go more specific with like what kind of livestock?
I was saying
We
in
can
general
figure
like
that out as we go.
cows, pigs, and chickens.
Okay, we'll just keep it general with livestock then. All right.
I'm gonna go a non-tangible because that's also a thing we can do.
Yes, it is.
Community, like the idea of it takes a village and people helping each other out. That sort of community.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's great.
Also, I'm sorry I had to run away and grab a package. I see the orange looks like mountains. I'm gonna assume mountains.
Yeah, they're hills.
Is the green, is that storms of some kind?
Those are it's a field of perpetual like dust devils / tornadoes.
Love it. And then the blue?
Hot springs.
Hot springs!
Are they safe? We don't know.
Who knows?
Do we go
But
in
people
them
say
anyway?
they have great
Yeah.
healing qualities.
And some of them die. Okay, great.
I mean, then I'll put one that's very important on the table. Water.
Water. Yeah. Yeah, the only river that we've got is like 10 miles north of
And the
of
hot
our town.
springs, you probably shouldn't drink those.
You should not drink that water.
I'm gonna add. So we're gonna technically have 6 here, where we normally have 5. But like I said, Hellstone is the default, so I'm just putting that on there. I'm gonna put faith
Oh, I like
because
that.
that's an important theme for, again, Western stuff. So, did I share that with y'all? I'm gonna hit show to everyone again. Okay, so I've got the resources listed on that list.
That is
Lumbar.
different version of
Uh,
lumber.
Sorry, I work in
Lumbar.
medical, so
You do
that's
work
my
in
Look,
medical.
your
Everybody's
back
got
health
great
is
backs.
important,
Back health is
especially.
There we go.
Yeah.
Lumber.
Especially.
I
I'm
wanna,
just so used to typing the word lumbar.
and our
that-
7th resource, chiropractors.
Hey, you know
Uh,
what? That's about right for when
Yeah,
chiropractics
we
Yeah.
probably
came
have
into
one
being.
of those.
Yeah.
So
Now there's a character concept.
now we choose one of those resources to be in abundance. The rest are going to be in scarcity. For now, that can change over the course of the game, like things, and we can do projects and things to bring something that's in scarcity to abundance. These are still things that are important to the community, but only one of these is something that we have a lot of. So, what do we want to say is in abundance?
I'm gonna put it out there because we're so close to craters. The craters are just so close to the crater. I would say right now, we have abundance in Hellstone. Like that is something that could change over the course of the year, but right now we just have an abundance of that.
I dig that. The only other thought I had similarly is water. Like the river is 10 miles north or whatever, but if there's an established supply chain initially then
Yeah.
it could be abundance, and just like what you were saying with the Hellstone, it could change. But I'm fine with Hellstone.
Anyone have any vote? So we've got one person saying, we're gonna just do this as a vote. So one person saying Hellstone, one person saying water.
I was gonna say faith
Okay, so we have a third one in the mix of faith.
because
that's
I
a good one.
think that is the starting point on which most communities are built.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
Is we have faith we can do this, and in whatever else that's driving you there. The rest of it will come in time.
Sid, you got a fourth one you want to add? So I have to be the tiebreaker.
No.
Or do you wanna vote for one
No,
of these?
I was kind of not 100%. So I'm just gonna lean into somebody else's. You all make very good arguments. But I think it could be kind of fun to have only an untangible be abundant and everything else is very scarce. So I'm gonna put my vote in for faith.
Okay. I'm not going to vote because then I'm just going to vote for faith because that would I don't want to just create another tie and then have us have to break that one. So let's go for
Crazy
faith.
how far you have to talk yourself out of voting for my option.
So the player who chose that abundancy then draws that abundancy on the map.
Oh, good. Yeah.
So
Yeah, draw the concept of faith.
well, do I just put? I got to decide. Is the
You're not-
symbol for this just going to be a crucifix?
Well, I thought it said the player who put it forward.
I put faith forward.
Oh, not like the person who said we should vote for it.
Yeah.
No. The person who created
Make it
that.
an onk.
The
Oh, well,
resource.
yeah, draw some weird shit.
Yeah, what would the symbol for this faith be? The faith that is it's a doomsday cult turned mainstream religion.
So across.
Yeah.
Onk,
Yes,
onk,
yeah.
onk.
Honk is good.
How do I? Oh,
Or just like
What
the
else?
head.
Onk is
draw
just
the
it's a
knight.
crucifix except it's got the circle at the top and then
Like,
it's the
or
cross.
the head of a biblically accurate angel.
got
There
it.
you go. 17 eyes and like 15 sets of wings,
Yeah.
if you don't mind.
Yeah. Will you just draw angel dust from Hasbin Hotel?
Okay. I'm gonna do something like an Ankh, but isn't actually going to be like a religious symbol that I have to
Get right.
get right. So let's do something. I'm gonna draw. It's gonna be in the town. So we're gonna do something that's like that, and then like that. And do I just do? I'm just gonna do like there's like a flame on top
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Just look.
Yeah, that's good.
It's like a tea that's on fire.
Yeah.
What about if the fire was at the bottom?
Tea for time to go.
Sort of like burning up the.
Mm.
I don't know.
I don't want to mess with it. That is a
This
good
just
idea.
looks a lot like you're
gosh.
you're 4 and you tried to draw Goku for the first time.
Okay, so what if
I'm not saying that because I don't like it. I love it.
I mean, it's a really good picture.
I just
of
want to
Goku.
say I'm just looking at it. Looks like
hold on,
It's a
Goku's
great-
like
it's a-
ah.
an eraser.
That's a
Hold on,
good
where's-
picture of Goku. That's what that
Is
is.
that
Yeah, this is good.
Where's the fucking eraser?
There's not one. You just have to fucking delete it.
Hold on, no, I can fix it. I'm gonna just take.
But you don't have to
this,
fix it. There's nothing
I'm gonna
broken.
shrink it,
Yeah.
and that's what it looks like.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay, yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
there we go.
It looks. Yes, it's good.
Yeah.
I'll draw something better.
No, it's
when-
really good. I like it. No,
So
that was
I'm
me
gonna put-
turning it over in my brain, going, okay, does it? It's like when people tell me what they're gonna name their kids, and like my brain immediately turns over, like, is there anything bullyable about this? Like, do I need to say something?
Prepare them.
Yeah, it's like I'm looking at this, and this is what it looks like to my brain, but this doesn't look like anything offensive to me.
Cool. Thank you.
Not that Goku's
Let's-
particularly offensive.
All right. That is our starting situation. I don't think there's anything else that we need to do here, so we'll just be getting into the week. Let's go and take our break here, and then we'll start with
Yay.
our officially getting into the month of spring. So, thanks everyone for watching. We will be back in a moment to continue our game, go do break stuff, and we will see you all back here real soon. Until then, bye-bye. And welcome back, Internet. Thanks for waiting for us. We are going to jump in to playing the Quiet Year proper. We've done all our setup and everything at this point. So we're about to get started with spring, the first season of our Quiet Year. We're going to go in order of our usual announcements and stuff, and that also gives, I think Ceda's the only one here that hasn't played it, because we decided, Wally, you've played this before, right? Yeah. So that gives Ceda the most time to see how everything goes. I guess I'll go last after Ceda, and we'll just go that way. So Van, would you like to draw our first card?
I would love to draw our first card.
And
Here you go.
And if anyone needs it, turn summary handout is in the Roll20.
Oh, I did also see for the first time, if you roll over the cards, you can just click the word draw.
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
And I will draw one card. I have drawn one card. Now I assume I just get to tell everyone what it is. It's the 9 of Hearts. Could have just flipped it, I guess, but it's more fun to draw it.
It's up to you.
Tease the 9 of Hearts. Oh yeah, I can.
9 of Hearts. All right. So your two options. A charismatic young girl A charismatic young girl convinces many others to help her with an elaborate scheme. What is it? Who joins her endeavors? And you start a project to reflect this. Or a charismatic young girl tries to tempt many into sinful or dangerous activity. Why does she do this? How does the community respond?
Clever whore.
Well, she's a little girl.
Well, it says young
It's
girl,
from
not little
Cinderella's
girls.
Castle. Angela says it. Clever whore.
Clever
whore.
No, I love it so much. It's just
timing.
it's the use of the word girl for me that just instantly is like,
Yeah, it's little girl. Yeah. Makes it also really scary instead of like creepy. You know.
Okay, tell me the first one again.
So she convinces many others to help her with an elaborate scheme. What is it? Who joins her endeavors? And you start a project to reflect this.
Okay. Let's do... Man. Let's do the second one.
Okay, so she tries to tempt many into sinful or dangerous activity. Why does she do this? How does the community respond?
Well, she obviously does it because when she was little, she had this wonderful imaginary friend. Insert name here. We'll come up with that in a second. You know I don't name things. She had this wonderful imaginary friend that was there for her, and that was her buddy. As she got older and could understand a bit more, this imaginary friend of hers asked her for more and more things. It's a demon. Am I getting this across?
Mm-hmm.
It was a demon. And that demon has convinced her, trying to come up with like what the end goal would be, because I think it would be interesting if it was tied to one of our resources. So I think maybe that her great imaginary friend, this demon, has there's got to be something. I think it's convinced her that there's something down in that abandoned mine.
Okay.
And they gotta get people to go down there and get it. I'm gonna try not to get too lost in the sauce of figuring out all the lore, because that's what my brain wants to do.
Nope.
And it's not what I should be doing. So I think she had this imaginary friend, and now as she has she's still fairly young, but as she has grown, I think is maybe certain to realize, oh, demon shit. But
okay, how does the community respond to this?
my instinct is to go throw her in the lake, see if she's a witch. Ooh, there's got to be. I think the community is divided about it. in the community. I think there is a division in the community. I think everybody has strong opinions about it, but they are either very for or very against it.
All right.
And so the response has been troublesome. 'Cause people can't agree.
All right. So that is your card. I don't think we don't have to start anything there, but that has happened. And again, people can, just giving some context, people can take actions and do things in response to this on their turns. But so the second part of your turn would be to move the project dice. We don't do that yet, so you get to take an action to either discover something new, hold a discussion, or start a project.
I mean, I'm very tempted to hold a discussion. But also, that's a hard one to do first. Yeah, whatever. I set myself up for it. Let's hold a discussion.
Okay. So you can either make a statement or you can ask a question. If you make a statement, that's all you get to say for the discussion. If you ask a question, then you get to make a statement last.
Okay.
And if you phrase a statement as a question, I will count that as a statement.
It's like you almost knew he was going to say something like that.
How long have you known me?
This
Yeah,
is
there it
more
is,
of a comment than a question.
Al's known me since 2011. That's not an exaggeration. Okay, then I'll start with a question. I think breaking through all of this is just sort of the arguing that's been going on about this for a little while, because it's scary. It's a scary thing. I think somebody puts forward the question of... No, that's a yes or no question. That's not a good one. If we were going to take this seriously, put together an expedition to go down into this mine that's very clearly abandoned, what would have to be down there to make it worth it?
We're going to go in the same order for the discussion that we will with everything else.
Okay, so I'll go first. Well, there better be a whole fucking stockpile of hailstone down there to make it worthwhile. Just a bunch of crates that someone left down there and didn't pull up when they abandoned the place. I mean, I'm talking real coin here. Better be worth it.
Now, I feel that it is quite dangerous for us to go down into such a pit of who knows what could be down there. Yes, we know Hellstone is down there, but obviously this young girl has been tempted by evil things that we must pray to above to make sure we don't fall under such whims and wiles for whatever reason they are going down that hole.
Ah, hell, we got enough Hellstone anyway. We're flush on the shit. Can't sell it. We go down there, we get more Hellstone, we just got more shit we gotta store.
There could be ancient secrets hidden down in those mines that have been lost over time. I think it's worth it. All right. Van?
Final statements.
Then I think at the end of the day, it's worth seeing what's what. And we can send a few people down there, kitted out, volunteer basis only.
All right. The community holds this discussion. That is the end of Van's turn. So we will move forward a week to Sid.
And in the first week, I just said, haunted by a demon, let's talk about it.
I got the 4 of Hearts.
4 of Hearts. And we're just going to drag them over to the corner and you can just pile them on top of each
Just make
other.
a stack.
Okay.
We'll just make a pile.
Because they don't get reused.
Stack.
4 of Hearts. All right, 2 options.
Okay.
What important and basic tools does this community lack? Or where are you storing your food? Why is this a risky place to store things?
Ooh. I feel like I get this one every time.
Dad's
You
down in the
do.
old mine shaft again.
You
we gotta
do.
quit hiding. We gotta quit hoarding all the food down there.
I feel like I've gotten this every time I've played this game because I'm always like, let's make a freezer, and then I can't draw a freezer. Okay. No, I think the resource is more fun. I'm gonna do the resource one instead. So what basic
What
tool?
important and basic tools does this community lack?
Okay. Since everything is at that we're kind of lacking right now, like we are lacking hellstone, we're lacking lumber, we're lacking all this stuff. I'm gonna say we are lacking alloy tools. So we don't have our blacksmith doesn't have much to do because even general metal here is difficult to come by. So we're working with a lot of wooden shit. We're working with a lot of old shit that's been patched together many times. Yeah, we don't have steel. We don't have iron.
Okay. I will add as a scarcity then. We'll go with like metal tools.
Yeah.
I actually might do this differently and just create 2 different lists for scarcities and abundances. All right. While I'm working on that, no projects. So, what action would you like to take?
Oh, you know I'm starting a project, and you know it's to go down in that mine, motherfuckers! You know it!
Yes.
No, you may. Oh, there we go.
Okay. So I'm gonna draw a little scaffolding thingy
Okay.
to represent us attempting to go down into the mine. Over the mining town. Here, we'll do a little... Oh, I don't want to freehand this, actually. Let's draw. And let's do lines. So I'll do a little guy here. Come on. Draw me. Here we go. And a little guy here. And a little guy here. And I'll do... Nope. Stop! How do I make the lines stop?
Right click.
I don't have a right click.
Oh, well, I can't help you then.
Damn.
Okay. Ah,
Oh,
ah.
yeah.
Like, okay then.
Okay. No, no! It's chasing me!
Damn.
Again,
Max.
the most fun part is that I had no idea what's happening.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, we don't see it until it's finished.
I know.
Such
This
a fun,
has-
like existential crisis.
This has the same energy as.
Okay,
Oh
okay,
no!
okay.
What's a tank?
Oh, what?
It's
Yeah,
a little
what is
off
a
the map,
tank?
which I like. Okay.
Well, we
so-
didn't have very many tools to build it with. Okay,
No, I like it.
we got that one.
Uh,
we have that one hammer.
Yeah.
So, how many weeks do we think this project is going to take?
With the one
And
hammer
this
that
is a
passes
group.
me,
This
with
is
the
a
one
group
hammer.
decision. We can kind of.
And it's in weeks, right?
It's in weeks.
I would say I will put out there 2 weeks because we have low tool resources, because we're building the thing and everything like that.
I think it might take a little more time because like we've gotta put stuff together to get down there.
Yeah.
And also go down there and explore.
And come
I was
back,
thinking
yeah.
closer
So-
to 3 or
3 weeks.
4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
That's
3.
good. Yeah.
3?
That's a good number. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So I will change this to 3 weeks.
I thought I recognized that little circle that was hiding up there.
Yeah, I'm gonna use
That's
these
the
for
little
countdowns.
blades in the dark clock.
Yes, it is. All right. 3 weeks remain on that. That will end Sid's turn. So Wally.
Okay.
Hi, Raiders.
Draw card.
Hello, Raiders.
Oh, hello.
Play
Raiders.
quiet
Yeah.
here.
Go and draw. Why didn't you draw? Come on. There we go. Oh, 2 of hearts.
2 of hearts.
That's
All
3.
right.
Did you shuffle? Because it's 3 hearts in a row.
Yeah, these are all going to be hearts.
They're all hearts.
right.
Yeah.
Because
Spring
the
is hearts.
first.
I forgot a core mechanic of the game.
Ba-da-bum.
All right. So 2 of hearts. There's a large. So 2 options. There's a large body of water on the map. Where is it, or what? And what does it look like? Or there's a giant man-made structure on the map. Where is it? Why is it abandoned?
Okay. I am gonna go with the giant body of water, because also I kind of want to put that as a long play of like possible ways to get more water resources.
Mm-hmm. So where is it, and what does it look like?
I'm not gonna be evil. I'm not gonna
Not
be
yet,
evil.
anyway.
Not yet, at least. Because you remember way back at the beginning of this stream when I said when I said, hey, you never know, we could draw a lake or something, and you have to draw that lake shape right there for us.
Please don't.
No, I'm not.
Except they don't unless the shape is important. But we could make the shape very important.
There's the lake right there.
Yeah, that's that looks like a little dog
That's
going like up on his back legs,
Listen,
going like
as
this.
long as it doesn't look like a penis, I'm
Doesn't
happy.
it?
It
like
does.
this.
So
Kind of
what's
looks like Italy.
what does this lake
I like it.
look like? Like, what is the
the lake
normal lake? Or?
The lake itself. Okay, so the lake itself it's a very it's a large lake. Think of like the same side of like Lake Champlain or something. That it looks like you can, if you look further out over it, you kind of can see like the speckles of the other end of it. But yeah, it's not a big, but it's large. And surrounding on like the left and the rights of it, you kind of see like nestled into like the little crevices of the lake, you see kind of like little spots of maybe some kind of vegetation, like trees and brushes, swamps around those edges. And as you go further north along that edge of the lake, it goes from like swampy areas to a more back to that little desert area when you hit the top of the lake. But I think that side of the lake that is facing towards the east, that's the side that's facing more towards the crater. And because of that, a lot of the vegetation on this side of the lake is not weird looking like with mushrooms, but at certain times of the day, it glows.
Okay. So we're saying, if we're looking at the map, that the crater's to the right?
Yes.
town?
No, yeah. Wait.
Or the lake
The
is
west, the
between
west, the
us?
west, the west, the west.
Okay, the lake
and
is
the west.
between us and the
Yes.
crater. Got it.
the
So
west
say,
of the
have we
town.
decided on a compass? Like, are we just assuming that
We can just go
up is
north, south,
north,
east,
or
west.
should we
Let's
like
just-
really fuck with it?
No, let's just make it easy. We'll just say north, south, east, west for this. So, excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I will go ahead and adjust the project die.
This is such a fun shape you've made.
I know.
I really like this little shape.
I just was going with it.
And Wally gets to take an action.
I am going to discover something new. That way, we each do an action before it's Sita's turn, so he understands how to play the game.
Hey.
All right. So with discovering something new, you get to either you get to introduce a new situation. It might be a problem, an opportunity, or a bit of both, and you draw that situation on the map. So what is the discovery?
Okay, so the mining project has been going pretty well for about a week now. We've been sending people in and out, back and forth. You know, things have been going great until one day we heard a in the walls of the mine.
Tummy knockers.
And then one day, busting through one of the sides of the walls was a giant millipede that just burrowed its way through and crossed the path. And it started chasing down the miners. So we have to deal with a giant millipede in that mine.
Go ahead and draw a giant millipede.
All I can think of is that fucking me and Bridget talk about it all the time, but that fucking King Kong movie
Yeah.
with Adrian Brody
Mm-hmm.
and the giant bugs.
This is gonna be such a bad millipede. There we go, millipede right there.
He's oddly kind of shaped like the lake we just found.
Listen, okay, listen.
copy and
I can
paste the
do
lick?
one shape.
This one, he's got like a tail. He's got a tail though.
Yeah,
It's like a stinger.
yeah.
Oh, I love him.
All right. Big millipede in the mines. Fucking shit up.
And the miners have given the name of the millipede. They call it Big Gus.
Big Gus.
Big
Big
Gus.
All right, I gotta add
He's
that.
named.
I'm keeping.
He's named after regular Gus, who he unceremoniously murdered.
Yes, he
They
ate.
saw
he ate
regular Gus. They saw Gus saw Big Gus and he was like, "Holy shit!" And they all ran.
And now he's the superior Gus.
Yeah.
That's how naming conventions work in our town. Is that if you do, it's like
You
No.
don't name children after like your
No.
parents or a loved one. You name them after the last person who died
you
horrifically.
you name them after whoever's ass they can beat. And you don't get a name until you can beat somebody else's ass.
You do realize one of us motherfuckers is going to use that in one of our character backgrounds, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
I love
it's me,
it.
dude.
I love it.
Excellent. So Big Gus terrorizing the mines. I am
The
also
Dread Pirate
keeping-
Roberts was a wrestler.
I'm keeping an event log in my notes for important things I need to remember coming up. So Big Gus has made it to the event log.
Yay! Our
Um,
first NPC name.
All right, that is the end of Wally's week. Sita, it is your turn.
It's me. All right. Whoops, wrong button. Let's draw a card. Schmack. 5 of hearts.
5 of
Oh, that's
hearts.
crazy. That one's a heart too.
Oh my god.
I did
All right,
sort of
Sita.
fundamentally forget why you split them up into
It's all
suits.
good.
Your options. There's a disquieting legend about this place. What is it? Or alarming weather patterns destroy something. How and what?
Okay. I got this. There was a freak hailstorm that passed over the city this week during the night, and some lightning struck the local water tower and burned it down. So we are currently out of maybe not all of our water storage, but like the local water tower doesn't even exist. We can't store that no more.
Got it.
Can I ask a
You
question?
wanna You want to draw like a burned down water tower or something?
Yeah,
like that?
we can do that.
Can I ask a
Yeah.
question? I'll see this drawing a burnt down water tower.
Mhm.
All right. So you guys know how like every once in a while you'll have one of those moments when like there's something you've always just sort of known, but it will like why you know it finally clicks and then your brain explodes for like a week. Didn't this happen to anyone else?
Yes.
With water towers just now.
Well, no, but like where you
Not for
like
me.
where you like you just like you know a fact, but you never really have like thought about that fact, and then you connect it with another fact, and you're like, wait, is there a reason for this? Is there like fundamentally a reason why there are 52 weeks in a year and 52 cards in a deck? Because it has just struck me that that's why this game works.
Yeah. I don't know.
That you get to if you get all the way to the end of the deck, that's 52 weeks. That's how many weeks are in a year, right?
Yeah. There are
Are
52 weeks in a year, yeah.
Are those connected?
Probably has something to do with fucking tarot.
Somebody
Probably.
and chat, you can answer this too if you know the answer. Is that a coincidence, or are those two things connected? I would like to know. Someone tell me.
It has to be tarot related.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be, right?
Gotta be.
All right. I have
52 is just
adjusted
a
the
specific
project
number.
clock for the mine scaffolding. So, Sita, you get to take an action.
Yeah, I'm going to discover something new. I think I'm gonna steal a little bit of spooky SCP stuff. I think the same night that that hailstorm came through, this lake, people started seeing bodies in the water, and they started recognizing those bodies as loved ones and wandering off into the lake to drown.
Haunted Lake. All
Haunted
right.
Lake.
Yay!
Please draw some bodies in the lake.
N-
Stick figures.
Bloody stick figure bodies. Oh no, I'm laying down in the water. Blood.
So, like, were there loved ones in there? Like, did someone say, "Oh no, Deborah," and they ran into the lake to get Deborah,
Oh,
and
no,
Deborah was
Deborah.
back on the shore, going like, "What the hell?"
Oh. Oh,
Yeah.
that's oof. Gosh, oof. That
well,
is
now we're-
eerie. God,
now
that
we're
is
doing
eerie.
doppelgangers.
Yeah, that's doppelganger shit right
And
there.
I don't fuck with that shit.
I don't fuck with doppelgangers. Ugh, they creep me
think-
out, bro.
I think that is a mystery.
That is a good. That is I can see that happening though. Like, oof. Like you see a loved one's dead
Yeah.
body, and then you run out there to save them, but the loved one is already on the shore waiting for you. Like, what's going on? And then snatch, get pulled under the water.
Or the one in the water was the real one. And the one on the shore is gonna get you if you go back.
Oh,
I love the corpse in the lake. Thank you, Sita.
Also
okay.
fucks up the water supply too. If there
Yeah,
are,
that
if there are
definitely
corpses in the
explains
water.
why we're not using this water to
Mhm.
drink out of.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah,
Because people that go there to get water drown.
because they come back a little different.
All right. I guess it's my turn, huh?
Yeah,
Go,
you get to
go.
play.
You get
Go
to
and draw a
play.
card. I
Play,
got
Val,
the
play.
8 of hearts.
Show us the card.
Another heart. Crazy. All right. An old piece of machinery is discovered, broken but perhaps repairable. What is it? What would it be useful for? Or an old piece of machinery is discovered, cursed and dangerous. How does the community destroy it? Huh.
That's very cool.
That's very dope.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna say that an old piece of machinery is discovered, broken but perhaps repairable. And what it is during the before time, like during the Great War, some they had essentially like created these hellstone powered like war machines, like tanks almost, that were meant to just like mow through like enemy infantry. And what they decide to do is repair it. Yeah, because it's what would it be useful for? What they realized is they could repair this machine. If they did, they could use it to till the land, to help set up like for easier farming. So I'm gonna go ahead and just draw a big broken down machine. When did my color change? There we go. We're gonna draw that. I don't think near the dust storm. Well, we don't have a lot over on the right here, so I'm just gonna draw a little box.
It is very
And
weird
then-
though that we can't see what you're drawing until like it's done. So if you're not doing shapes and you're doing one continuous line, it's very like, but what's gonna happen?
And then it's got a little piece here, and it's got like kind of a big roller thing on the front. It's got spikes on it.
Love it. Love
It's
it.
pretty good from memory.
That's really good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll go with that. And it's, I mean, we'll just remember it's broken. I'm not gonna, I was like, how do I articulate it's broken? I think it's internal, like engine and rust and that kind of stuff. So yeah. That is my card. Project clock ticks all the way down for the mine. So Sid, you get to describe how this resolves, and to let everybody know, it doesn't have to be successful. Just because the project clock concludes doesn't mean it's all good and it's like we go and do the thing. There could be costs and benefits and things that are discovered as part of this. So yeah, what is the result of this project?
I mean, I have a feeling Big Gus may have put a bit of a wrench into things. So maybe.
Now, if he's got a wrench, we could really use one of
Yeah,
those.
Big Gus, man, come on out here, help us fix this old tank.
Just imagining a giant millipede with a giant tool belt on, and he's just like smoking.
Hey, oi,
he's
hey, you
smoking a
need some
cigarette.
help with this tank over here.
I've absorbed the memories of your friend Gus.
I am now sentient and I will continue this work, but will let you know I am Union.
Holy shit, you guys are roughing it out here.
Hey, yo, look at over here. Look like a big old pile of pasta shazool over here. Let me try to dig through this.
And
Gotta
what
do it
is
like-
this? What is you guys? You don't even have iron in this.
You're
town.
calling this manicotti? This ain't manicotti.
Hey, fuck.
Mind you,
me.
every single one of the voices is the different sections of Big Gus's body.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So maybe we need to deal with Big Gus before we can resolve the exploration of the mine. So I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna start a new project.
You could do that on your turn.
Oh
You
yeah,
can't-
it's not my turn
yeah.
anymore. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah. You're just describing what the result. So the result
Yes,
is they
yes,
realize it fails because they need to deal with Big Gus first.
There we go.
Okay.
Is
Got it.
Is there one of those like wild western cowboy folk legend songs about Big Gus?
Got
This
it.
is like 15
Big
miles.
Gus.
Bing, ding, bing, bing, bing,
To the
Big
tune of Ghost
Gus.
Riders in the Sky. Big Gus, Big Gus. Big Gus, 8 little Gus.
All right. I'm gonna use my action to start a project.
What?
And I was just gonna go ahead and do the machine, but I think I decided what they're gonna do instead, because while the machine is important, like to set up for future farming and livestock and stuff in here, we've got this whole source of water. It's right near the town. Water's a scarcity. So I think to deal with the water scarcity, they begin to research ways to extract water to get water from the lake, or to maybe like exercise the lake to remove the haunting from it.
Love it.
So I'm gonna start a project for that. How many weeks would it take to unhaunt a lake?
I think
These
that
are real
depends on who you
questions.
call.
Yeah.
I mean, faith
Which franchise are we working
I'll say
within?
faith is an abundance in this town. So we've got
We
the
do have
resource-
we do have a canon church lady in this town.
We do have a lot of faith going on. Yeah.
what do y'all think? 2 weeks?
I think 2 weeks. 'Cause I'm saying like we got church people like
Yeah.
that will like
Yeah.
be.
And
2 weeks to unhaunt a lake.
Yeah.
That's plenty of time for preparation, and it also
Mhm.
gives us a little extra for a little bit of showmanship.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna do that, and I guess I'll draw a little dude. Trying to exercise this lake.
Draw Russell Crowe
It's gonna just
from The
be
Pope's
things
Exorcist.
holding-
Just
My favorite
What?
exorcism movie of the year.
It's got a little hat
that's a
on.
very specific.
Oh no, he looks like before you put the top on the hat, it looked like he had the like monk haircut where it was like around here, but he was bald on top, and I was loving it. But no, this guy looks like a traveling suitcase salesman.
He looks like the guy on the poster of The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If I
Yeah.
gave him a cane,
Yeah.
he would look like a travel, like a
Yeah, give him a little
performing-
cane. We'll give him a little cane.
Yeah, give him a
There's
little-
okay. There's some showmanship in exorcisms, right? You got to show the
Okay.
demon who's boss. Yeah, there we go.
Got it. All right, that's my project.
Yeah.
So we are back around to Van.
Great. I've been thinking about what I wanted to do. Definitely.
Draw your card.
Draw. Why do I keep doing this? Just put it on the table. Just put it on the table. Just put it. The Queen of Hearts.
Ooh. Face cards are fancy.
The
Yeah,
Queen of
yes.
Hearts.
Queen of Hearts. Ah,
Right.
okay.
With hearts.
Your two options. What is the most beautiful thing in this area? Or what's the most hideous thing in this area?
Oh. Oh. Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going on with me.
Beauty is so
Um,
subjective.
No, I just like I went into like for some reason like I went like my brain was just like kicked back to like the first time I played Witcher 3 and it was like what was the most beautiful thing in this area, and it's just like a woman. It's just like Kira Metz in a bathtub. That's the most beautiful thing. She's in the hot springs. There's a beautiful witch that lives in the hot springs.
Wait, yeah?
I should do landmarks or something.
It does not have to be a landmark.
There's a beautiful witch that lives in the hot springs.
Is she
I'm going.
Is she a fawn?
Yeah.
I'm going to stop censoring my brain so much.
Good.
There's
All
a
right.
beautiful something that lives in the hot springs. Is she a witch? Is she a fawn? Is she merfolk? Is she even a she? No one's really sure, but we all agree. Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Draw a
She
beautiful
fine.
thing in the hot springs.
Okay.
We can all agree is that she got it going on. Is what everyone.
God
sounds-
damn.
I gotta zoom in for this. What do I even draw? I'll just.
And it doesn't have to be it can be a symbol. You just draw like a heart or something if you're like, I don't want to.
It's a flower.
Flower, okay.
Because flowers are beautiful.
Oh, look at that. It's just a pretty flower. It's a daisy.
I'm
That's my
gonna
bird
adjust
flower.
the project die for the Lake's Exorcist. Van, what action do you want to take?
I would like to talk to the beautiful thing that lives in the hot springs. I'm going to. What do we need? We need things. We need stuff. We need things. We need things. I'm going to start a project. And this project is going to send an expedition, a little expedition, up into the hills to see if we can maybe learn a little more about the flora that exists up there, and mayhaps find something that, even if it's temporary, may be a lumber source for some more building and general reinforcement of what we've already built.
Okay. So you're starting a project to like an expedition as a project to find a lumber source.
Yeah, we'll go up in the
There's
hills
wood in them there hills.
and try to find, and I guess it doesn't have to just be lumber, but to find something that could function as lumber would obviously be like the more renewable of the resources.
Okay.
But try to find something up there that we could build with
Got it.
Hemp.
more
So
reliably. Have a more reliable source of that.
Yeah.
you can draw a little something for this expedition. But how long do we think that's going to take?
I was gonna give them 2 weeks.
Okay.
Because this is not like, we're not setting a lot of stuff up.
Mhm.
We're not like, they're not out there to do a bunch of like building or like anything like that. Like, I'm not out here trying to build a lumber mill. They're just trying to find something.
Yeah. So this
They're
isn't necessarily going
ranging.
to solve the scarcity on its own, but it's going to. You're looking for something that could solve
Yeah.
that problem. Got it. Yeah, I think 2 weeks is fair.
Is a tree.
Okay.
tree.
Little tree.
All right.
And there's a bird in it.
That
Herb.
is Van's
Love the
turn.
bird.
I love that bird. I named that bird Charlie.
That's little Gus.
Oh, he's been reincarnated as a bird.
Yeah. Gus was eaten
Yeah.
by Big Gus.
Oh, and then there was little Gus.
And then this is
Okay.
little. This is little. We just
So
name
by
all
our
the animals
naming
after Gus.
convention,
It was
good
Gus's pet bird
little
who got
Gus
loose.
beat up Gus. Like,
Yeah.
That's why little Gus was a pet, because little
That's
Gus
the bird that beat Gus's ass.
Yeah, he told everybody that little Gus was his pet, but really it was more like kind of flip flopped.
Yeah, it was. They were equals. He just never wanted to admit it.
And then there was a moment where every time Gus would walk past the bird cage, little Gus would be like, 2 for Flint.
Yep.
what?
Ah,
What?
What's up?
sorry.
Sid, it is your turn.
Okay. I shall draw a card. The Jack of Hearts.
All right, Jack of
Oh,
Hearts.
why is it so
Oh.
big? Okay.
All right,
Yeah,
Jack of Hearts.
Big Jack energy.
I don't wanna.
You see a good omen. What is it? Or you see a bad omen. What is it?
Okay.
We gotta have a little bit of hope. A little bit of hope. I'm gonna go good omen.
I
'Cause
think
we
I
got-
think I saw on your face you immediately default to bad omen and then be like, wait, we always do this one.
It's like, you know what? No.
I feel like I heard the thought process.
the wheels turning. in my
Because
head.
I think it was the same exact thought I was having. It's like, oh, bad omen, yeah. Like,
Oh yeah,
there's
bad
some...
omen. Obviously, well.
Now. Hold
It was that
on.
moment you saw the look on your face where you like reconsidered it for the
Yeah.
one moment.
Yeah.
We're still in Saturday brain where we have to
yeah.
compete to see who can die the most and collect the most trauma.
I'm gonna say, the good omen is, like sort of a game bird species that we thought was gone, shows back up. to like, do their migration or whatever. Like, we haven't seen them in years, and it's actually potentially a decent food source if like they've returned. So yeah, we got some tasty birds that showed back up.
Raider
Stop.
sage grouse.
Yes, Brennan.
It's
I was
what
looking
if
for
it
the
was-
roseate spoon.
Spoon
bill.
Rosé
bill.
spoonbill. What if it was like pelicans?
I was honestly thinking like roadrunners.
Wait,
Or like
wait.
emu. Like emu.
Oh
No,
my
what-
god!
I was
yes,
gonna say, what if
emu.
they're
Can
like
we have
giant,
emu?
like
Can we
really
have emu?
jacked emus?
like emus,
They're
but
regular emus.
The migration,
emus.
the migration is akin to that scene in Jurassic Park where they realize all the dinosaurs are running away from something.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, I like that.
Just herds of emu.
Oh my god.
Draw some emu on the map.
Oh god.
Yeah, you're
I'm gonna
welcome.
draw one emu, okay? Look.
Really got to start thinking about
God,
having to
yeah.
draw the thing.
Like,
Did
oh
I-
yeah, shit.
This is too long for stream. We could talk about it later, but remind me to tell you guys about the time that I actually saw a bunch of emu live in person in my grandparents' front yard.
Oh my
shit.
god.
They're frightening birds.
Now here's
I
a
don't-
hint. The emu were not supposed to be in my grandparents' front yard.
Right.
I don't fuck with any kind of bird that is described in their definition as territory and warlike.
I'm just gonna say this is the whole story. There was a preserve down a few miles away from my grandparents' house that the emus escaped. And we were sitting in their dining room eating lunch, and my granddaddy just looked out the window and was like, "What the hell?" And there were like a bunch of emu this is in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, like out in the middle of nowhere, and there were just a bunch of emu in their front
God.
yards. And it's a cherished memory for me of my granddaddy just like, well, what the hell? Yeah, that's how I saw a bunch of emu.
Got a little
They
dinky
escaped.
wing.
Oh, that's a good
Looks more
emu.
like a drinking bird.
I
don't
know.
give a
was
I
gonna
love
say
it.
that,
I
yeah.
love
I
it.
like
I
him
love
though.
it.
Yeah, he's a
I
little
love
he's a
him.
little Woody Woodpecker.
Yeah, I love it so much.
Yeah, the legs
I
the
also,
legs really make him.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's not
menacing.
to scale, but I like imagining it is. So
Yeah,
this
he's
emu
bigger
would-
than a
They're
tree.
massive.
They're massive emus. Like they're much bigger than normal emus.
literally shakes the ground.
It's like when a bunch of them run, it's like a cattle stampede.
All right, so that is the card resolved. So I did Project Dice, the Lake's Exorcist.
Hunting birds for food really changes when it's like it's emu you're hunting.
Yep.
So the exorcism completes. So
Oh right, we were exercising the leg.
What a sentence.
the project is concluded. So I'm gonna give this a mixed success. They're able to the priest of the town is able to exorcise the lake to prevent this. Actually, hold on, I should say. They're able to abate the effects enough to establish some sort of like what would I say, like irrigation system that comes through, but the exorcism is temporary. And in order to complete the exorcism, the priest had to blind himself in order to
Right, to not be pulled
avoid
into the lake.
to avoid the effects. And the effect of this is that the clergy, like whoever is going out regularly to exercise this, has to either be blind or blind themselves to do so.
It's giving moth priest.
Mhm.
Yeah, does that like they can't even? And I like it if so, but they can't even just like cover their eyes. They have to be.
No, I think even covering
Actually
your eyes or
blind.
like closing them does like continue, like the effect still continues, like compels you to open them, or you're still compelled by it. Like they
That's
found
good.
that the only way to actually avoid the effects was to fully blind themselves permanently.
That's sick.
That's dope.
So I will remove that and move water to an abundance.
Yay, we got water.
Hey. Just as Keikaku.
So we have an abundance of water and blind priests.
So many blind.
What a
priests.
cool week.
Pretty cool
right?
week, yeah.
All right, that's it for that project. So Sid, you can continue your turn.
Okay. I will discover something new.
Okay.
And I'm gonna discover Ooh, this is fun. I'm going to discover fossilized dwarf bones.
Mhm.
So outsider bones.
But fossilized, though.
Yes. So our understanding is that the outsiders came more recently, but these bones appear to be ancient. So how the fuck did they get here?
I'm going
Or
to.
is
I'm
the
gonna.
Hellstone
I'm gonna interject.
fucking
I'm gonna
up the
do a thing.
fossilization process?
None of us have done it yet. I'm taking a contempt card.
The faith don't
contempt
like
coin.
that.
They hate it.
Ooh.
Yeah, religious people notoriously hate
do I-
fossils.
Yeah.
What do
Yeah.
I do with this now that I've taken it?
You just
Oh,
have-
you
just
should be
have
able
it.
to add it to your so if you right click and you put take card,
Aha. Boop.
okay, so that'll add it to
So
your
it'll keep
stack.
count.
So
But
Yeah, it's been a weird few
okay.
weeks. The whatever the religion, the dominant religion is anyway, is probably like, okay, hold on.
all right. There's only so much we can take
Whoa,
right now.
whoa.
yeah, I believe they renamed themselves to the Church of Morda. Is
Ooh,
the
I like that name.
because the Morda was the prophet that started that doomsday cult.
Cool.
Dope.
Tin. And I'm just it's close to the hills because that makes sense. So I'm gonna atrociously draw a bone.
Okay.
Bone.
Bone.
Because we're all really showing off our drawing skills
Yeah, we're
today.
We're so good at drawing, guys.
That looks like a poop. I don't.
Let it happen.
What
Mhm.
happened?
Honestly, that's probably what the church thinks of it.
Yeah. It looks like a poop.
Oh, now it looks like a bone.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it looks like that's a bone. Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent. That will be the end of your turn then.
Correct.
So, Wally.
Use my turn. I'm gonna draw a card. Come on. There it is. It's a 6 of hearts.
6 of hearts. Oh, okay. All right. So 6 of hearts. First one is: are there children in the community? If
We
there
already
are,
know there's that one little asshole who's trying to get
Yeah.
us to go down to the mines. Sorry.
if there are, what is their role in the community?
Okay.
Or how old are the eldest members of the community? What unique needs do they have?
Ooh. You said unique needs the elder community has?
Yes.
That question is crazy because it essentially lets you like canonically decide how old people get to be before they
Yeah.
die,
Yeah.
or
Oh,
if the
man.
children are wrong.
See, my brain wants to do one thing, but I don't want to do it. But I really want to do it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't help you with that.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna go with the children.
Okay.
The children's role in this community, they are not there's basic schooling and everything. Kids go to school, they learn trades.
mines.
It's not a thing, but there is a thing of where they heavily promote going to the mines when you leave school. They don't force the kids to go, but it is a very big kind of like a thing of where kids thrive to be miners when they grow up. They are viewed as the heroes. They are the guys who go down into the tunnels and fight the big bugs like Big Gus, and they help mine out they mine out the town and everything, and provide hellstone to the town. So I feel like miners are viewed as heroes, and children are pretty much kind of not forced, but kind of like educated for the mining culture.
Incentivized.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
there's a little propaganda.
Mhm.
Okay.
There's a lot of
This is like
propaganda.
it's like the turning on its head of what we were all told about going to college.
Mhm,
There's like
yeah.
kids here, they're like, no. University, absolutely not. Trade school is for you.
Yeah, it's
That
like
gets
that.
you
It's
into the
based like that.
mines. And the miners, as you know, and there's a big poster of all these big strong miners. And
Yeah.
they're like,
Like they promote like mining culture big time. It's like it's I think, and it kind of even goes into the town, where the whole thing with the town is that people who pass through this town are either going to mine in that old abandoned mine or go out to the crater and mine stuff from there. So yeah, I
love
think
it.
that's what it is right there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
How am I supposed to draw this?
I guess draw a bunch of child miners.
Okay.
Draw a little mining pick. You know?
draw the concept of our education system turned on its head.
Yeah, let's do that.
Just like in a few lines on Roll20.
Yeah.
Yeah, no big deal.
Just
I
draw
love
a
it.
really little pickaxe.
Let me do painting.
Painting.
Yeah, well,
I do like the idea that it's like we haven't been able to deal with Big Gus, so we're just gonna send a bunch of kids down there and just like rule of large numbers. We'll get
I feel like
some-
Guys, eventually we're gonna have to have a discussion about
it's
Big
very,
Gus.
it's very much a generational thing at this point. That Big Gus is like a generational kind of thing. There's never one Big Gus. We all think it's one Big Gus, but it's like Big Gus constantly dies and another one gets born.
Generations.
yeah,
It's the Dread Pirate Gus.
Yeah.
All right. That is your card, so we'll adjust the project die, which will resolve the expedition.
That's me.
How does that turn out, man?
I want him to find something weird up there. I want him to find like a new, like a new mutated species of tree. Where how our last expedition ended poorly. So this one, I feel like let's get a win in here. Let's get a win in here. They find what they think is initially like a grove of trees, and that's crazy on its own. But they're mutated by the junk. What is it, Hellstone?
Yeah.
By the Hellstone, and for some reason they like it makes them grow back a lot quicker or something.
Okay.
Regenerating trees.
Ah, okay. So a source of
Sorry, I had to
lumber-
talk through it a little bit.
A source of lumber that is affected by the hellstones
Yeah.
that regenerates faster.
We've never seen this before, and maybe they don't find a lot of them, but they do find them.
Question.
Yeah.
Is there a cooldown period for these trees?
That
Like, you
depends.
know, like you
Well-
like you farm it, and then like how long do these trees?
That depends. Did you take the lumberjack feat?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they were only out there for a couple of weeks, so I imagine that turnaround time's got to be pretty quick.
Okay.
What the consequences of that are, I don't know,
Okay.
but I imagine the cooldown. I mean, it's shorter than the trees that we're used to,
Excellent.
which is like decades. So, yeah, way quicker than that.
Nice.
Got the I was trying to get to a portmanteau of like regenerating and tree, but it's not clicking.
Tree generating.
There it
And
is.
it was I knew you'd get there.
There it is. There it
I
is. There
knew
it is.
somebody. Okay. Yeah.
Generate.
They're called
Generation.
tree generators.
Yeah.
Love it.
That sounds like a B movie about like
Killer
Yeah.
trees.
killer
Yeah.
trees.
Does that
Yeah.
solve the scarcity?
In the very short term,
Okay.
because I don't know. It's only been a
I'm-
couple weeks. They don't know.
I'll move it. I'm gonna take a contempt token.
You don't like my trees?
I
Who doesn't like my trees?
I
Doesn't like
think
my
that
trees? Who does like trees?
well, hellstone trees. I think there's
Yeah.
The faith are like, look.
They're probably
listen,
like, we shouldn't be building our houses
like,
out of that.
y'all motherfuckers need to chill with this. There's
Well-
been exorcisms. We got big
But I-
Gus.
And I imagine there is some funk about like, I mean, long-term hellstone exposure probably not good. But I don't care. I didn't opt to hold a discussion.
So, and that actually brings something up because we found the hellstone trees,
Mhm.
but we haven't the tree generators, but we haven't like. Would it not take a project to actually set up like a lumber installation out there?
not necessarily. Again, it's up for our interpretation. If we decide that finding it is enough, then again, it's for a group discussion. So if you feel that it's not enough to,
I was gonna say, I imagine the actions are not the only things that are happening over the course of the year.
also that,
Right,
But yeah,
like,
again,
Those are
it's-
the big
it's-
things, and then we can say, meh, if
It's
we don't have
group
to focus
thing.
on it."
So if the group does not feel, if the majority of the group does not feel that is enough to solve the lumber issue on its own, then we can say
Yeah.
that it doesn't. Somebody else can also make a discovery later on that inhibits this and that moves it back to a scarcity. So
We said
I'm
that
okay
for the
with
long
I'm
game.
okay with moving it to abundance just because it's all the whole list is temporary and could change at any time.
You never know what could happen. But it makes the most sense that suddenly we do have an abundance.
Like, holy shit, look at all these great trees we found.
Yeah.
all
Tree
right.
generation.
Okay. I think who had drawn it was Wally.
I draw. Yeah, I gotta do
So-
my.
Well, that
next
Go
was-
do your action.
Yeah, I
Oh,
gotta
hold
do my
on,
action.
that was the clock ending.
Yes,
Yes.
that was just the clock.
I gotta now do
Okay.
one of my
Just making
choices.
sure I'm tracking.
Um,
turns.
so
I need a turn
for
tracker.
discussions,
subturn
it could be for anything on the map right now.
Yeah, it could be anything.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
If you're holding
I just
a
wanted to
discussion.
clarify that before I did this. So, suddenly, one day during a town hall meeting, while discussing various this and that's, and wondering what are we going to do about that big old rusty thing out there by the west eastern edge of town, suddenly the doors boom swing open. You know what's funnier than a town that doesn't know what to do anything with a giant rusted war machine? Just like a mule with a spinning wheel. And this man wearing like a pinstripe suit and like nice, clean white pants, matching shoes, and a straw hat comes in, and he delivers the most music man kind of pitch for himself to come in and take over the rebuilding of this machine and refabricate it into something else. He's not telling you though what it will exactly do. He's just promising to rebuild it so that it can do what you intended to do.
Okay. So is this which action are you taking again?
The discussion.
Okay. So what is the state? So is the statement that are you doing a statement
The
that
statement is that do you let this stranger come in and rebuild the machine, but he will not give you full disclosure on what it can fully do, just the promise that it can do what you intend it to do, or
Which is farm right now.
it's just farm. right now. But the alternate is you do nothing with it.
Okay.
Oh, we do nothing with it this week.
So, okay. So, Sita, you get to make a statement in response to this.
Well, this city slicker, hell, I don't trust him. We've been out here all by ourselves this whole time taking care of ourselves, and look, we've been struggling, but we've been getting by. We don't need a help from no slick-dressed con man.
We really need to get that thing up and running, though. Otherwise, we're gonna have a hell of a trouble this harvest season. So, I mean, maybe better to take help where we can get it.
Well, I'd say if he thinks he's so good with machinery and fixing things, give him a test. Let him fix something smaller first. Show us he's the real deal.
String this motherfucker up. He's up to something. I don't like it.
Straight to string him up. Love it.
I just like hang him.
You said Western.
You did. Okay. So, so because of the I choose make my choice, basically, do I I can start a project after this
No,
point?
so that is your action to have the
Okay.
discussion, and
Okay.
then we can do something with that later. So,
Yeah.
that is it for now.
Mm-hmm. That's it for now.
But does he go on the map somewhere?
You can draw.
Yes,
a little
actually,
city
this
slicker.
guy
Put him on there.
has not left the town. He has stayed at the town, and it's almost like a daily thing. He's talking about this.
Okay. All right. Sita, it is your turn.
Perhaps 10.
10.
Oh, cool. This is what I was kind of hoping I would get.
Yeah.
I have a plan for this.
There's another community somewhere on the map. Where are they? What sets them apart from you? Or what belief or practice helps you unify your community?
Okay, I think there is during that expedition out into the hills, near the trees, they also made some contact with a group of you know what? You mentioned them earlier. I'm going to use them. There's a group of tribal Gnostic Thrycreans that live in the hills, and they have kind of an animistic religion that relates directly to Hellstone. So they have those like rough, weird, evilish Hellstone magic items. Not many, not very, very few, but a lot of them are like weird, kind of twisted. And I think I'm gonna tie it to the dwarf bones too. I think they think that Hellstone will guide them to seeing the truth of the world and of its history.
Nice.
All right.
So now I'm going to draw a little mantis. And this is going to go poorly.
People.
Excellent.
I would like to. Could I do a contention token anytime?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a contention token because the faith people in the town don't like the fact that another
Religion be
religion
around.
is popping up, especially one that in their minds are inherently evil.
Yeah, that's a praying mantis. Sure.
I love it.
That totally is.
That's a little guy.
That's a little guy. Just a little guy.
I'm also gonna draw a contempt token for this one.
Okay.
Because I think there's probably a faction of people, whether they are religious or not, that are religious or not, that probably think keeping this community insular is a very good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that these people are generally peaceful. Like they are kind of diametrically opposed to the church, but not in any violent way yet.
But I don't know that I don't know that the whole community knows that
Yeah.
No, totally.
or wants to know that. Give me a freaking chip.
Chip.
All right.
Coral.
So that's just your card. We adjust the dice, which there are no projects on the table right now.
Oh, wow, there are no projects.
So, Cedar, you get to take an action.
Let's go ahead and start a project. We're gonna start a project. We gotta take out Gus. The threat to the children, it's just too great.
All
So,
right.
plus
That's
there's
all
enough
minor
people I think
children.
that still want to get to the bottom of this mine and find out what that's all about. So
Yeah.
we gotta take out
Oh, yeah.
Gus. I think because we've been trying to solve a lot of problems recently, and our resources have gotten stretched a little thin, meager resources already. I think this might take. I feel like we've picked 2 weeks a lot, but 3 weeks feels maybe a little long.
It's up to you. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think 2 or 3 weeks both work.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about like the whole thing, right? So like getting a group together, making a plan, kitting everybody out, getting them down there, executing.
Yeah. Well, we've finished the project that, in my interpretation, everything is there to excavate the mine. The issue was that we weren't able to succeed in that because of the hostile creature. So it's really just like getting rid of
We gotta get rid of Gus somehow.
Gus at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, you're gonna want to be
know what?
careful making a plan to fight the world's first discovered giant, horrible, cursed millipede.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, Cedar, what do
I
you
I
think?
think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna set it to 1 week, but I mean it could obviously go poorly.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, that is very true.
So yeah, 1 week.
Fair
Damn.
spin.
Cool.
Damn it.
Uh,
We're all sharing the brain cell tonight.
Every time we make that joke, the captioner has like a field day with what you guys are saying. Val's definitely just says Aspen.
Aspen.
right. That's Cedar's turn. So I will draw a card. I got the 7 of another heart. Jeez, man, we're gonna get all.
Oh my
That's
God, so many heart
crazy.
cards. What the hell?
You said you
Stacked deck.
shuffled.
I thought you shuffled it.
Oh, I'm back on this one. Okay, so the two questions are: where does everyone sleep? Who is unhappy with this arrangement and why? Or what natural predators roam this area? Are you safe?
Yes.
I'm
Now, if you're
forcing-
really creative, you can combine those two into one big problem.
I'm gonna
Monster
go with
fuckers.
the natural predators. Of course.
Well, yeah.
Something bigger than Big Gus?
Yeah. So we talked about.
Oh, no.
the-
Big Gus has no natural predators.
Big Gus is the apex creature.
Uh-huh.
We're really close to just electing Big Gus mayor of the town.
That's the name of a bad
I would like to
Disney
thank
movie.
yous all for voting me into this very prestigious position. As my first act as mayor, I make it legal for millipedes to eat children. Let's
I
go!
think I would like
Second
to quote,
act, we're gonna make Crater's Edge a walkable city, okay?
I would like to quote one Mayor LaGuardia when he first became the mayor of New York City. New
And
York
yes,
City.
I'm old enough to remember New York City.
So in line with what we were talking about, so I'm gonna say
I don't want to get rid of Big Gus. I like him.
Either.
the predators that are after the expedition to encounter lumber. We begin to harvest the lumber from these tree generating trees. The side effect of that is we find out that there was a whole ecosystem that was reliant on these trees, specifically groups of small like bark eating imp like creatures that were like feeding off of the bark from these trees, and so they end up migrating into town, and begin to run rampant like through the town. There's these small little like gremlins that begin to just gnaw on anything like wooden in the town.
Are they called varmints?
Oh, I do like the name varmints. Yeah.
Varmints.
Varmints.
So to answer the question is, are we safe? I'm gonna say physically, yes, they're not like a danger of like attacking people, but as far as like our infrastructure is in peril. Like you're
I regret
constantly
to
having
inform you that you've just reskinned termites.
Yeah, essentially. So I'm gonna draw some little varmints in the
Varmints.
town.
Termites, but cute.
Termites, but cute.
The called varmints.
I love it.
I love
it.
varmints. I
So
love it.
I'm just gonna draw
Big fan of the premise.
some little.
Just the
little
idea of like
guys.
someone going like, "Hey, Jim Bob, you heard about the varmints that ate up Caleb's shack?" Yeah, I've heard Caleb shack just got eaten up by a bunch of varmints. He built that shack up about 2 days ago. His wife was pitching the whole hissy fit about that shack. Said he going out that shack and hiding behind it, doing who knows what. I bet she's happy that shack got eaten up. I'm telling you, those varmints saving that marriage. This is what it did. It sure did, Clem. It sure did. Clink.
Ah.
I meant to just copy the varmint, and it copied the whole thing.
He copied the whole town.
I meant to do. All right, we're just gonna go with one varmint. So I'll draw it again.
He's representative of all the varmints.
Yeah.
That's the varmint president.
Yeah. Varmint man.
How do you spell varmint? VARMINT.
VARMIT. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Wood.
No, VARMINT.
NT. Yeah. That's what
NT.
Yeah.
varmint.
Everybody says varmint.
Because it comes from.
I'm also
It's a
gonna take
combination of like vermin and something else.
Probably vermin and rodent.
Yeah.
See what we're saying?
I'm gonna take another contempt token for this. This sucks.
That's fair.
We just started rebuilding these
This sucks.
buildings. It just sucks, man.
Actually, we fucking hate this.
It's like, no, but this actually bites.
Yeah.
Yeah,
literally.
much like the varmints.
Some guy's got like a wooden leg in town. And it just keeps eating his legs.
Just standing outside of town hall, hopping on one foot, yelling.
Yeah, I'd be pissed too, dude.
I love that. Sita, your project to kill Big Gus concludes.
All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. It's gonna be a little mixed or real bad. I think no matter what, the sheriff and one of his deps are killed, and I'm gonna flip a coin. Heads, they manage to take out Big Gus. Tails, they fail.
Okay.
And it's a fail, so we just lost a couple of
Big Gus.
I have an
Town's
idea for
guns.
Big Gus for next time. I will hold on to it.
All right. So expedition. So that leads to the sheriff.
The sheriff and the deputy. Yeah.
We now have a scarcity of law and order.
Yup.
I actually like that. I might add that.
Oops.
Oops.
Badge here and cross it out.
I didn't spell any of that right. But that's
I
fine.
ate the sheriff, and I
But
also ate the deputy.
And that's why we like Big Gus.
We love Big Gus in this house.
Yeah,
I-
Big Gus says ACAB.
What
and
do
then,
I-
You know what?
What do I do if so the contempt tokens are like something happened and I think there's people in this community that don't like this. Like what if
Yeah.
something happens and I'm like, yeah, we like that. That's the consequences of your actions.
Could we take a contempt
Can we
token
take
back?
Is there like a
I don't think there's a mechanic for that.
Is there a-
but,
I thought there was.
I feel
thought
like
I
there
read
should
something.
be.
Okay.
I think
well, I'll
it's
just
later on,
well,
though.
narratively, I just think there's probably a group of townies.
Oh no, yeah. It says if someone else does something that you greatly support that would mend relationships and rebuild trust, you can discard
Oh.
a contempt token to show that that you've healed past tensions.
Okay.
Well, I wouldn't say this is healing tensions. I just think there's probably a faction of people in this town that are like, yeah, that's what you fucking get
Actually, I think there'll be a draw of contempt token.
for trying. That they're like, yeah, we told you this would happen. There's like a vegan faction that are like,
They all wear like
just
they're
went in
picketing
there.
out with "Save Big Gus"
You
signs.
just went in there to like, that's his home that you went into. Of course he's gonna eat the children you send in there. He lives there, you idiots. I don't know. That's just flavor text.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm gonna take
People
my
for
action.
the I don't know. People
Uh,
for the
Gus.
ethical treatment of Gus.
So
Pig.
Pig.
P-E-A-G, pig.
Pig, and they call
The ethical
themselves
treatment of
Pig.
Gus.
And every time you walk past their protest, they oink at you.
I'm a pig for
Threateningly.
Big Gus. Oink, oink.
Threateningly.
I'm in. I'm in
Whose turn is
between
it?
Two things. It's mine. I'm finishing on my
It's
turn,
still
and then
Val's.
we'll call it. We'll call it there. I think for the night.
Oh, it is time, huh?
Yes.
Damn.
I'm gonna.
Sid, you don't have a
start
single contempt token yet.
I don't. Not yet.
I'm gonna start a project. And the project I'm going to start is the sheriff just died. Big
The
Gus
deputy,
is
too.
still a problem.
I don't
The
know.
project they're gonna start is to somehow tame Big Gus.
That's what I was gonna do.
Awesome.
I love it. I love
Awesome.
it.
Who needs the con man and his big metal farming machine
Yeah.
You've
when
got
we
Big
have
Gus.
Big Gus?
Yeah.
I think that's gonna take some time. How about 4 weeks?
Yeah.
You feel
Ooh, I
good about
got.
that?
Yeah.
Ooh, I got one for next time. Ooh, I got one for next time. Oh my gosh.
I like it.
All right, I'm gonna start a project to tame Big. What do I draw to tame Big Gus?
Just a little heart next to him.
Because
Because we super don't want him to be resentful. He'll eat more of
No.
our children.
Yeah.
All right, I'll draw a little heart next to Big Gus. and put my
Yay!
project jacket there. All right.
I was straight up going to start a project to use Big Gus to till the fields. That was gonna be my next
Oh,
project.
Get him on our
That's
side.
it, yeah. Get Big Gus on our side. Yeah, that's it right there.
We've seen how powerful this thing is. We wanna use him.
Yes.
And also, has anyone noticed that he's like the exact same shape as that weird haunted lake? Like if you look at him, if you look at his silhouette just right, there's gotta be
Man.
something there.
I almost want to take a contempt token for the action I just took, but I don't think that's within the spirit of the rules, so I will not do that.
I'm gonna take
Uh,
one.
Okay,
Because
somebody needs to.
well, because
this
the
guy killed this thing.
vegans, they were like, well, we don't want you to kill him, but you can't be in control of him. He's a sentient creature.
Excellent.
I'm just
Well, I think we're gonna go ahead and end here. I think it's a good spot to call it for the night. We should be pretty close to the end of spring. I think maybe we have like 3 cards left. In
could do
the
the math real quick, yeah.
well, we've done 10 turns, and I think there's 13 cards per suit.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, 10
Yeah.
and 3 face cards.
so we're done with spring, and we'll move on to summer. The fun thing about this game too is that the things that pop up become more and more detrimental as the game goes on too. Like spring is easy, summer gets a little more challenging, fall and winter become the most challenging. So we'll see how all that goes. There's a random orange line there. Is that something that's supposed to be there, or was that an
I
accident?
bet you I did that.
There's also a
Baggy
dot.
that.
There's also a green dot right here that I
I'll
hate.
delete the green dot.
I wish the eraser.
There's
Also
a
do
dot
this.
right here, but I can't tell if it's on the map or on my monitor.
It's on your monitor.
on
Oh, I know how you can erase.
You just click and delete. But
Yeah.
All right.
I wish there was
That's
like
what we'll
an
call it.
eraser
I
sheet.
really don't think. I mean, do we want to do stars and wishes? I don't know if there's really anything to
My
do.
star
Stars
goes
and
to
wishes.
Gus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
every star goes to Gus
Yeah,
today.
Gus.
Everyone's star goes to
Gus
me.
gets a star, and everybody's wish is next time we're going to talk about Gus more.
Big Gus is played by Vincent D'Onofrio.
That's the correct answer.
Love
But
it.
Vincent D'Onofrio from
Men in Black.
Yeah. But it's Vincent D'Onofrio from Men in Black as Ed from Men in Black doing an impression of Wilson Fisk from Daredevil.
I was about to say it's Vincent D'Onofrio playing Wilson Fisk doing an impression of his character from Men in Black.
So it's basically like this.
When I was a boy,
Yeah,
I heard my father.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
but Gus doesn't need sugar water.
No,
What
he
does
doesn't.
He needs
We're gonna decide that next time.
Kentucky
Yep.
bourbon, baby, and a big hat.
Big hat.
And that's how
excellent.
Gus, and that's how Big Gus became mayor of Craters End. And the rest of the story, well, I guess you'll just have to tune in next time.
Yeah.
This starts
Alright.
a tradition of
Blows
animals
smoke in your
as animals as the
mayor.
mayor.
Yeah.
Some folks have a dog mayor. We have a giant millipede mayor.
We call him the Mayor Pede.
All right, we're gonna end it there, y'all, because we are past time. But this is fun. Look forward to continuing this next week and seeing what else happens in our little town of Cliff's Edge here, or whatever we decide to name it, or
Crater's
Edge.
Edge.
sorry. Crater's Edge.
I think that's gonna stick.
I like Crater's Edge.
Well, you were the one that said it.
Oh, was I? Okay.
Well, you said it, and then we were like, "Wait, that's a good, like, that's just a
Town
good
name.
name for the town."
That's
Because
a
you said
good
it's right on the
campaign name.
Crater's Edge.
That's a good campaign name also. Crater's
Pretty
Edge.
good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, my lovely players, for making this game so much fun. And thank you, everyone out there, for watching. We will be back in a week. And until next time, good game and good night, Internet.
Support your local millipede mayor.